Welcome to another episode of The Throne Room, produced by The Bigga Picture. Today, we have a most awesome day. I am so excited about this day. I'm so honored to be in the presence of these gentlemen today. And we have something great to introduce to the world today to you guys. First, I would like to introduce my partner who you've heard many times behind the camera. Today might be your first time seeing him on camera. Mr. V, man.
Right.
My brother right here, the man with the master plan
Peace,
that
peace,
I
bro,
can't
Nick,
even be
peace.
Peace,
here
brother.
without him. Peace, my brother. I also would like to introduce my main brother, Mr. Polo, my man with the plan that helped bring this all together. I have much respect and honor for you, Polo.
Thank you,
Welcome.
thank you, thank you for having us, Bigga. Great platform, man. You're doing great things, brother.
I really appreciate that. I would like to, this brother here I look up to so much. This is my big brother. This is like an honor to, be in the same room with him, whether virtual, whether in person. Someone who, as a child, teenager, I just, would listen to his rhymes over and over and over again and try to imagine how could I even pattern my rap style to be in a level of his. The original lyricist that took the level of rapping to what we know of as today and beyond.
Yep. He raised the bar. He
My
raised the
brother
bar.
that, I mean, took this whole rap game will forever know this man lyricism. Mr. Can I Bust, my brother in
Peace,
the house.
peace. The bigger picture, peace.
Now, I really have a special treat for you guys right now. Something that I only could thank God for this blessing and the blessings that show that God is still with us and with this platform. I couldn't even imagine being in the presence and the grace of this man. This man is one of the people that laid down the floor for us to walk on. I would say the one who gave Can I Bust his demo deal, gave Lost Boys, executive producers for Lost Boys, passed on Wu-Tang Clan, created Uptown with Puff Daddy and Andre Harrell. I could keep the list goes on and on. I would let him say all his great accomplishments. I would like to just with a warm heart and, gracious say, welcome Mr. Patterson, the most legendary producer of R&B and hip hop that we might know of right now for our,
Give him a round of
I
applause,
can't even
y'all, for
say
Mr.
Yes, sir.
decade,
Patterson, man.
the
Yes,
last
sir.
Yeah.
two
Talk about it.
decades.
Yeah, that's right,
Yes,
that's
sir.
right,
Yes,
that's
sir.
right.
Still here, looking
Right.
13.
Definitely, brother.
Yeah. Looking 13, huh?
Right.
Silverback. Let's go.
Yes,
Right.
brother.
Right.
So as I was saying, I'm just so honored to be here with everyone in this room right now, and just want to make this a great show right now. So can I bust, my brother? How you doing?
Sir. Oh man, hanging in there like a rusty old nail, right? You know, um, pretty much. I mean, when you think about it, it's 2024. Um, at this point, we crossing over into OG to double OG, and it feels good. I mean, it's a bit surreal because the time just flies, and one moment, you are in the mix, and then another moment, you're a bit removed from it, and you still vibe with it, and yet technology changes. You know what I mean? So now you have to learn how to, even like getting in here on the program. Which logo now is for camera, and which logo, and do I have the ability to record, and can I record this, and I had the same issue getting on myself. So, and then they ask you to put your name in. You're like, what name should I use? you know, but I was a techie, and that's what's so crazy, because when I started out, it's rumored out there that I was the first artist with a website, in any genre. I had Canibus.com. I got it off of, I think it was GoDaddy at the time. It's been around that long, and I had Canibus.com. I mean, shout out to a gentleman named Brent Whiting. He was the one that set that up for me. And he also did my logo, that cannabis logo. His name is Brett Whiting. Shout out to Brett. And yeah, all about that technology, man. I had a Canon XL1. It was a piece of tech. It was a camera, recording camera. It had a little, kind of like a ADAT tape that went in it, and magnetic celluloid tape. But that's what we used to use to film the footage. And we went on the Smoke and Grooves tour and everything, and I was doing Friday night freestyles at that time, and I had static in the background. And this is 1997, circa 98, and people just didn't know what they. I didn't from 1990, from September of 97 to September of 98, I had 18 million hits, right? And at that time, I knew that it wasn't our communities that were online. So it used to throw me for a loop, because I was used to wondering, like, who are these people that are looking at it? Because a computer wasn't a household item in 97. It wasn't. Even in 98, it wasn't a household item. Everybody didn't have a computer. A lot of folks was going to the library if they library had one. And so to be the guy that's on the other end of that now, like, I still know some tech, but I'm nowhere near as sharp with it as I was. And I guess that's what I mean by hanging in there like a rusty old nail, man. We gotta stay up with it, pay attention to these youngins, look at what they doing, laugh with them, cry with them, and vibe with them, man, because they are the future. And that's what we're doing right now. We got a lot of things like heading into the future, and ways that they can sort of level out as they start to, reach their crown age. And it's not all about rap no more. That's what you do on your show, Bigga. That's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I love what you just said, because that bring me into one of my questions. N.O.R.E had said that you was the first person that he actually saw writing their rhymes on the computer.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Uh, I mean, if he said it, then that's a good testimony, man.
Yes, that's what N.O.R.E said.
Yeah, CNN Noriega, man. Like, um, and at the time, the reason why I had the computer was because I couldn't write the rhymes down fast enough. It was easier for me to type them in, because I was able to type, like I could type like, a little bit north of 80 words a minute, man. I was boogieing. On that keyboard. So, I was able to get the rhymes down and get them into like a text edit format fast, you know? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Would you say that was your creative process?
I mean, definitely, like, it was just a tool that I used, because at that time the screen was very blank and bland. It didn't have anything on it. The screen, like when you go into a text edit screen, it was just blank. There was no graphics bouncing off the screen, you know, um, messing with you and trying to catch your eye. It was very, internet compared to now, internet then, and just uh word processing programs. They were very boring and bland, but it was top of the it was cream of the creme de la creme at the time. And
So,
so,
Cannabis, when you started writing the rhyme, you always typed first? Like you started
no,
typing rhymes mostly?
no, no. So, I love, literature, books. I've been writing, heavily poetry, or just writing in general, since a very young age, man. I've been writing. So I have so many written, on paper, margin to margin, beyond the margin, even, on the back of the paper, writing upside down, writing, you know. But what I'm saying is, in 1992, I worked for a company called AT&T. AT&T. I had temp jobs. I went and I registered to about 5 different temp agencies. One of them was Ronstadt. One was Alston. I can't remember what the other 3 were. And because I didn't want to cut my hair, right? I had like a Gumby, like a flat top. First, I had the flat top, and what I'm saying, my folks didn't like it and stuff like that. So they was like, you got to cut your hair. You need to get a job, a good job too, and whoop whoop whoop. And so I didn't want to do that. So Auntie Pam hooked things up, and my mama told me, okay, you don't want to do that. All right, then you're gonna go sign up to the temp agency. So I went and I signed up to the temp agencies, and because I knew how to type that quickly, because I did that in vocational school, the typing, and because I knew how to do that, then it was like easy for me to get a temp job. And so I was downtown in the cities working in the skyscrapers, temp jobs, 2 weeks here, 3 days there, one day here, another week there. And eventually, when you're working down there and you do a good job, eventually, somebody might say, hey, we want to hire you on permanently. So then the temp agency, they take their cut, but then when you get hired on permanently, you get more. And back then, I was getting like $13 an hour, man, in '92. You know, for doing word processing work, running filings back and forth to the FCC. Donna Searcy was the secretary of the FCC at that time, and I also I was I was transferring files from newspaper to microfiche. You know what I mean? At the Department of at the Library of Congress, and then also like there was some DoD work involved. It was all paperwork though. It wasn't nothing where I had to put a suit on. I just had a button up on, had my flat top. You know what I'm saying? And if I was doing like running files, through different city blocks and stuff. Like there was no Uber back then, man. Like I was a runner, and I put it in my attaché case and run them files, and it was like it required athletic ability. I mean, they loved it, man. And I behaved myself. I was courteous and cordial. I had manners. You know what I mean. I put a quarter in that little cup. Where I didn't really drink coffee that heavy, but if I took a soda or I took some sweets and pastries from the thing, I put the quarter in that bucket. You know what I mean? Or put the dollar in there. I didn't just take it and wait for it to replenish. So these sort of things, they snowball into opportunities, and I was hired on permanently at different jobs. So I wrote that time. I was writing rhymes like a madman on paper. But then, working at AT&T, then they started sending, we had guys that go out in the field to do infrastructure repairs, and they were using electronic communications. And so I was back at, back at the operating center, and I would send these field tickets to them by internet. So, and that was modem. We were using modem back then, and I got real good at that. So I got to take the laptop home with me, and then I fell in love with computers when I was able to take a laptop home. I mean, it was a work laptop, but I was able to take it home, send tickets out in the field. Even from the office, it was my, it was like my weapon. It was my rifle. I held on to that laptop, man, and the other little programs like the PowerPoint and the Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Office. I would be in there, right, and I said, you know what? I could just put my rhymes in there and then put it on a floppy disk. Back then,
I have a question.
floppies.
These
Back
kids don't
then, I
understand the
don't even know.
struggle.
I don't know if y'all know what a floppy is, man.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Y'all know what floppies do.
nigga, we all
I
know
I
know.
know
what
Yeah,
what
I
a
know.
fucking
I
floppy
know what a
floppy
disk
is.
floppy
What are you
is.
talking about,
I know
bro?
what a floppy is.
I
But
know what a
I
floppy
sound
disk
crazy
is.
though. I
I
sound
have a
crazy
question for
saying
you,
that
Cannabis.
rhymes is on floppy. Yeah,
I have a question.
saying rhymes is on floppy, like that sound crazy,
No, that is crazy. I have a question for you, Cannabis. You feel that okay, and for entrepreneurs in general, and even just regular folk doing certain things, regardless of what it is that they're trying to get into. A lot of people have difficulty accepting new challenges. You touched on being the first, well, we touched on you being the first rapper to use technology like computers in order to write your rhymes. We touched on you being one of the first, if not the first, rapper artists to have their own websites. Do you think that your experience at AT&T made you comfortable taking that approach? Because for a lot of people, it's difficult to accept new things. Do you feel that your experiences help you make those decisions in order to move forward?
The answer is yes. That's the quick answer. And if I could expound on it, I would say that really it was it was it was it was the old lady looking at me, telling me, I don't care if you don't want to cut your flat top off. You're going to get a job. You know, you got half day in high school, you're a senior, and you're not doing the vocational thing for the 12th year. You did it in 11th grade, so you're gonna get a job. And and I didn't want to cut my flat top. So what happened was me signing up to the temp agencies. That was the gate. That was my gate because by doing the temp agencies, no one had to hire me permanently. So I was getting in and out of all kinds of different things. I was filing. I was being a runner for certain files. I was doing the microfiche conversions. There was a lot of different growth during that time at the temp agencies. It's kind of like when people join the service, right? When you join the service and you start traveling, it doesn't matter where you're from. Once you put on that uniform and you start traveling, you become more worldly. You know, you meet different cultures. You're in and out. You're on the map. You're in different places. By the time you get back home, you're like, man, I'm so glad I left. You know, no matter how hard it was when you were out there, you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't stay, man. I'm glad I left. And I know that's how it is with artists that, they get record deals and they travel and when they come back to where they come from, they're like, man, this ain't it. And so there's always a gate, is what I'm getting to. There's a gate. And it's not so much accepting new things or whatever. We all gotta accept new things. Or even when you stuck with the old thing, they're gonna give you new parameters with the old thing. So we were talking to the youngers, or we were talking to somebody that was just like, where do I start? It's the gate you're looking for. And that gate is, you know, like a prism. You want to go to something where it's going to allow you to be the most well-rounded person that you can be in life. The internet has social media has completely shattered that kind of talk now, because now it's just like people communicating and interacting with each other through social media. There's so much commerce that's done through social media these days that is their gate, right? Social media is the gate. So they have it now. It's baked in. It's baked into the equation now. Social media. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I think social media was something that a lot of us didn't see coming. It definitely have changed the way
I
that
saw it. I saw it. I saw it.
I said a
Saw it.
lot
I
of us,
saw it.
not of course not
Saw it.
you. You
No,
was
but
already
I tried to tell people though, Bigger. That's the thing. Like I tried to. I was trying to share it. I was trying to share it, Bigger. I didn't keep it to myself. I tried to share it. I tried, man.
Well, that goes back. That goes back into the same conversation. Most people, it's difficult for them to accept new things and new changes. So I think that through your experiences, it was easier for you because those experiences allowed you to be open to those things. But most people, I mean, we could talk about it all day. You can try to introduce people to new things, and some people will adapt to it, and some people just won't because they don't have those. They're not built like that in layman's terms. You follow what I'm saying? They're not built to be open to things. They're not
No.
built for
Well,
new
they're
experiences.
gonna get their chance. They're gonna get their chance, like
Cannabis, when you
because
first got on a computer, what did you do at first? Like your first internet experience?
so the first time I got on the internet, obviously it was a work laptop. So everything was work related, right? Like I was sending tickets and authorizing and updating and clearing tickets and sending them to the field techs. And so and they would have their little device. It was a tablet. Funny enough, it was a tablet that they would use, and then they would, when the work order, when they showed up to the work site, they would go ahead and look over the work order and so forth and so on. So my first experience was work related, but because I was taking it home, I was allowed to take it home. Then I would go into other programs, and that's when I got into like PowerPoint, and I put presentations together for like anything that I had to do with school related. Because at the time I was going to a community college, and so to complete my assignments, I would go ahead and just use the word processor and PowerPoint if it required that, and then I go and I print it out. You know what I mean? I go over to where I could get it printed. At work, I go to work, and then I would put it on the main computer, put the floppy in the main computer, and then it would come up on my screen, and then I go file, open it, and then I would print it out, and then staple it at work, all using all work accessories and stuff, and then take it to school. So my first experience was that. But but for the listeners that are a little bit on the edge and they love, like kind of like how YouTube is now, or Rumble, or BitChute, or Brighteon, or all these new type of social media, TikTok, all these different things, Instagram. Um, I was looking at this site called Branton, Branton. I'm saying? Branton. And for anybody out there that remembers what that guy Branton was about, it blew my mind away. It was like reading an Orson Welles novel, H.G. Wells novel. It was so far in advance of anything that I'd seen on the internet. That's where I think my addiction to the internet took hold. It was with Branton. And I can only say his name because what he was writing about and things that he was uploading, it's just too left or too right to to unpack. You know what I mean? So maybe somebody in the comment section is gonna go and do that, and they'll be like, "Oh, he's talking about," and then everybody can go ahead and find. Because another thing about YouTube and these other TikTok and Instagram and these things, anything that has a comment section, it's funny how it never ceases to amaze me how the comment section is its own community. Sometimes I might go in there just for the laughs. I'm a little bit addicted to going in the comment section just for the laughs, man, because somebody gonna say something and everybody just gonna be weak, man. There's humor in it, there's comedy, there's knowledge, there's wisdom, there's understanding in the comment section. And there's dummies too. There's a lot of dummies.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff going on, but the comment section is where that's where the real, the real ingredients are. It's in the comment section. It starts with the content, like your show, for example, the bigger picture. But in the comment section, you're gonna have people to come in to co-sign what you might have said. Because if nobody can co-sign what you're saying, then they turn around and that's pretty much why I got Mr. Patterson here, because Mr. Patterson can co-sign. Yes, I did give Kenny, his first demo deal. Yes, we were doing record. Yo, listen, I took Mr. Patterson because he was always busy. I had there was a DAT box outside his door, his office, right? And he didn't have no time to go through the DAT box. He just didn't have the time. He was either on conference calls, he was out of the building. You know what I mean? When he was in the building, he was on a conference call. He was just always, basically like, cracking a whip, man, making sure that the label was getting results with the music. And so I took it upon myself. This is a skill, of course, that was honed while I was working for temp agencies, where it's like, all right, don't sit around not doing nothing now. Look busy and do something. Get busy. Find something to do. So I said, you know what? Let me just go through the DAT box and let me tell them. Let me find what's hot. Whatever's garbage, I'm gonna toss it from the DAT box to the trash. But whatever sticks, besides taking appointments and stuff, I'm gonna go ahead and listen to it. And so I would take the DAT box. Well, it was heavy, so I grab a couple, put them in a smaller box, and then head over to the DAT room where it got CD player, DAT, tape deck. I mean, everything except 8-track. I was able to, like, whatever somebody sent in a demo, I had the whole rack mount in front of me. And through that experience, I put the Neptunes on Tim Dawg's table. Mr. Patterson, I put it on his table. I put Winter Wars from Capadonna on his table, in his inbox. I put Joe in the inbox, and he thought those was hot. There was other stuff I put there, but his ear, that executive ear, he picked up what he felt. And so those records, those records, man. Those records, them. Winter Wars, Joe.
Absolutely.
Tunes.
All legendary stuff. I wanted to ask you, Mr. Patterson, how was it hearing a young, fresh Canibus in his prime?
So here's the thing with Canibus, right? Canibus caught my attention from the jump because I was surrounded by a lot of people who were from New York and who just had a New York state of mind. So that's kind of how I dealt with people. So you had to kind of entice a New Yorker with something, something shiny, a promise, money, in order to get them to move. So when I met Canibus, I can't front, and this is no disrespect, but he was green, man. He was just ready for whatever. He was like a sponge. And he had that thing that New Yorkers didn't have. This is when I started to fall in love with the Southern mentality and the Caribbean mentality. He had that, give it to me. I'll do what they won't do. Just give it to me and I'll do whatever they won't do. And I'm going to do it better. I'm going to get it done quicker. And he never had to speak. His results always spoke for themselves. He never had excuses. And if he did, it was definitely necessary. New York cat, no disrespect. I'm from New York, man. You got to ask a New York nigga to do something. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. 20 minutes later, he fucked the money up. So that wasn't Canibus. So to answer your question, I had him when he was brand new and I didn't understand him. He was smarter than me. I didn't understand him. He definitely tried to sell me the internet. He definitely tried to sell me the future. He tried to, but I just couldn't let go of this paper. I didn't want to do no coins or no. I'm good, B, but he came in with
He's exactly the person we were describing earlier. He was staying quiet. He's exactly the person we were describing earlier.
He does what you don't want to do. I would send him to do, how Puff sent the nigga to get cheesecake? I said, Canibus, I said, I need the DAT from Jerusalem in a minute. I'd have the DAT in a minute from Jerusalem. How you going to front on that? So when I realized that he was a rapper, because he was always in my ear with, dog, when you get a chance, I just want to speak to you, very respectful. He's Caribbean raised. He's straight all about that discipline. He's an executive present Christmas. That's all I can say. He's what every executive would want, because you can't do everything you're assigned to do. So you need that ride or die, and that was him. So I see what he did then, and I see what he's been doing over the years, and I see where he is now. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. You understand? When I don't know something, I gotta ask him. And I don't have no problem with that. He's my younger brother. I have no problem with that. He was always ahead of his time. He was AI back then. He was the CD when we were still. He was the DAT when we were still, the CD. He was always a step or two ahead, and he tried to sell it to everybody, man. But that paper was too nice. I'm not going. I gotta keep doing that.
That's amazing.
Thank you. It's true. And you know what? A lot of folks, they can't come up to a show, any show, anywhere, with the executive that gave them their demo deal, man. They can't. They can't do that.
So, Mr. Patterson, what was it? What was the first recording of Canibus that you heard?
It wasn't. It was just him spitting. He was reading off a computer. I never. about, because here's the deal. The computer was brand new back then, to me anyway. It was around, but it was brand new to me. You know, my thing was pen and paper, and then we had these what was I using, Candy? Pen and paper, basically. So when he started coming in and getting things done quick and giving it to me on paper and professional, who the fuck is this? Who does this? You know, really, who does this? So he started rhyming, and I didn't pay attention. I can't front. He wasn't my cup of tea. You know what I mean? Because I didn't get him. I'm into raspy voices. I'm into hood stories. And Jermaine ain't from the hood. That nigga's he's well raised, Stone Mountain, Georgia. You know, Jamaica. I mean, so I wasn't. My ear wasn't tuned to that. I wasn't tuned to the Transformers. I wasn't tuned to Decepticons. I wasn't tuned to all of that ventriculix talk. I wasn't tuned to it, you know? And then so once I started hearing him, I think he had a buddy. Okay, he had a buddy who started managing him. His name was Charles. Charles would always pull my coat like, yo, dog, you should hear what Kenny got to say, man. You should hear what he got to say. And then one day I heard what he had to say, man, and I said, okay, you know, he's definitely worth a shot. His doctor just don't exist, you know. And unfortunately, I didn't get to take his career with him, but you know, we set it off. We definitely set it off.
That's
he
amazing.
was on that demo was it had the Neptunes because he didn't leave me out. He didn't leave me out, man. It was a 3. He gave out 3 demo deals that month. It was the Neptunes, Tragedy Gaddafi, and me. And you know, believe it or not, in storage somewhere I got the tape. It's just that the writing is rubbed off. You know, I got the tape. The writing's just rubbed off of it, man. You know, all that stuff. You know, a lot of stuff that I got in storage, the writing's rubbed off. The ink is rubbed off of the paper. Like I don't think ink,
they wasn't stupid.
Yeah,
they knew what they was doing.
yeah, it's just all gone. You know?
Shout out to Tragedy Gaddafi and the Neptune.
Shout out to them brothers.
Tragedy Gaddafi is another like he's one of those other awesome lyricists that might have not, you know, got his full due in hip hop that he should have, but another awesome lyricist. How was it like working with him, Mr. Patterson?
Okay, here's the thing with Traj, right? Traj is another. He's a real one all the way around the board.
All day.
Can't help it. He can't help it. You know, if he can't, it ain't a fake bone in his body. So sometimes that works against you. You know what I mean? I had Traj with me for a while. He was rocking with me in the office. He rocked with me in the studio. And he started to understand what the executive world was, that you can't speak all the time. You can't just bust your gun. You know, you got to reserve a bullet for this certain time. You can't just empty your clip. And he started to understand and learn that. And this was on the executive level because later on, he brings me a Capone boys and a Capone-N-Noreaga. So Traj, I liked his rap style. I'm not going to front. But Traj was in the lane on his own because he was so righteous and he was so real with his that he was scary. He was just, he would scare a lot of people who didn't understand him because he was so militant. He kind of came off like Griff a little bit. Griff is the nicest guy in the world, but if you don't know Griff, you're not going to walk right next to Griff. You might walk across the street because he's so focused, he's lasered in. So to answer your question, I loved Traj in the studio. I didn't make any records with Traj, I don't think. Oh no, I did, Ken. I think I gave him a little deal. Yeah.
But remember, they was still making a little noise because, you know, New York, they did New York, man, with CNN. Like he was.
That was a little later on. I think before that, before that, he was bringing me Capone. Capone, he kept throwing in my face, yo, Capone, man, Capone. And at the time, Nas was at a place where he was just unfuckwittable. Right. Totally. He was just unfuckwittable, Illmatic all day. And then Capone came with this raspy thing and this kind of like is he Puerto Rican? Is he black thing? You know what I mean? And I'm looking at that, I'm saying, oh shit. Then he starts spitting. And I was convinced. That was it. I was convinced. I said, yeah, we got to do something with him. But and the Trash kind of slid N.O.R.E in on me, like, yo. He said, yo, he got to be with his man, though. His man is in the Bing right now. He coming out, though, and they're a team. And I was like, yo, Trash, I'm good right now. We can start running today with this kid. When N.O.R.E come home, we fit him in. We can start running today. So going back to Trash being so militant and so focused and loyal, he convinced me to wait for N.O.R.E. Okay. He said, yo, we got to have his man. So we waited for N.O.R.E. N.O.R.E came home. They came up to the office. Kenny, where was we at that time? Was it Arista?
We was at, that must have been, it could have been Arista. I think it was.
All right.
Okay,
Island probably. It was probably Island. All right. So Trash bought Capone up there a few times. Like I had Capone on lock. I handcuffed him. I cuffed him. Yeah, I cuffed him. And he went everywhere with me. I wouldn't go nowhere. Capone went everywhere with me. He started dating my girlfriend's friend. I made sure he just stayed close. You know what I'm saying? And then N.O.R.E came home. So me and Capone had started getting a rapport. It was a good rapport. From with an executive and an artist. Executive and artists never get along. It's always a beef, right? But I always had good rapports with my artists, no matter who it was, for some reason. So N.O.R.E comes home and N.O.R.E's fresh out. And this when Tommy Hilfiger was real big. So, N.O.R.E came up to the office and he had his Hilfiger on. But N.O.R.E had a look like, yo, if you say one wrong word, I'm going to set it right here in the office. I'm dying to go back to jail. Don't sell me no bullshit. I could be getting money right now. I don't need to be in this office. And he's calmed me down and he's sitting in the chair against his spine is just rubber because it was so intimidating. And I'm sitting behind a desk and me and Capone already good. Me and Trash, that's my man. And now here comes N.O.R.E. So no knock on N.O.R.E, but N.O.R.E was a little harder to figure out because N.O.R.E's not Capone, N.O.R.E's N.O.R.E. But when I heard N.O.R.E start spitting, it all made sense. To me, it was a whole nother language because he came with the dun son. And that whole Queens thing. And then Capone coming with the lady shit. Yo, I said, yeah, all right, we can rock. So instead of going for Nas, I said, fuck it, man. We just gonna go for Mobb Deep, nigga. That's all. We gonna go for Mob, man. We gonna take them out. Mob ain't got that commercial feel. They ain't got it. They got the whole thug thing. That's cool. They missing that Capone. So yeah. So I signed them to a demo deal. Gave Trash a couple dollars. Showed Trash the executive world, and then he went and did it from there.
Mm-hmm. Because after that, right? You talking? They came with New York, CNN. Yeah. Because remember, we would go over there sometimes with Cheeks, man. That's when I met Hav. I met Havoc out there. We would go to Left Rack. So, but it was immediately right then that they came with New York, because by the time Lost Boys was going to West Coast, we weren't involved in the East Coast, West Coast thing. I was booking.
Yeah, the beef was hot. The beef was hot right then.
It was hot, and we was probably one of the only group. We weren't the only group, but we were one of the only groups that was going to both coasts. We were going to the South. We were performing in the Midwest. We were going overseas. Them guys, they were road warriors. Lost Boys was going everywhere. There was rap. Every school, every college that had, back to school, spring break, Lost Boys was there. We called them road warriors. So Trash, N.O.R.E, Capone, they took off with New York. The whole world knows it, man. As a matter of fact, we was scared for them damn near, man. It was that record was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. For me,
it was mixtape before it went to Flex. Like just mixtape alone, Flex had to play it. It was too crazy.
For me at that time, I know I had felt like hip hop wasn't answering. For New York, I felt like hip hop wasn't really answering what was going on. And we was getting a lot of West Coast slander at that time, you know, in my opinion. I mean, people want to debate that today, but those that's old enough know the truth. You know, they was coming at our head. And CNN, yeah, that song kind of, you know, it kind of put us back, you know, kind of, you know, it was
So you know what was happening.
I think that was in response to the time, though. There was a lot of it was stem. I'm sorry. A lot of it was actually stemming from the narrative that was being pushed back and forth between East Coast and West Coast. So what was happening was a lot of it was almost like one would say one thing, the other one would respond to it, and then vice versa. So I don't think that it came from like a place of like direct, you know, being direct to it. I think it was like responding to a circumstance. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, so that's what it was on the surface, but the core of it from where I was sitting, because like I said, Lost Boys was going everywhere. So the core of it for me, I was removed from, you know, from the field. I didn't have to pick a side. And when I first went to LA in '96, I fell in love with the place, man. I had never been to California before '96. When I got out there and I saw it, I fell in love with it. And what I realized was it's the money, it's the bread. The reason that New York felt a certain way because West Coast was coming for the wallet. That's what it was. Like Death Row, you know, Easy's label, you know, the Bay Area, they were coming for the wallet. And to give what I'm saying some, you know, so what's my receipt for that? Easy, Cash Money. You know, when No Limit came, No Limit was coming for the wallets, man. And P proved it. He's still getting the wallet with Snoop right now, with the cereal and with the movies and all that. He's still getting the wallet. So they came for the wallet. And then Cash Money came for the wallet. And I noticed that about, you know, a lot of times when you know when NYC speak on when it's surface, they you know sometimes it'll come up who was taking payola to play certain music, right? But it was the wallet though. You know, no DJ gonna turn down that payola, you know, to play the music. And that's when you started hearing less and less New York on Hot 97 and the sister stations, and even, you know, and up and down the East Coast, because the wallets, man. These other regions of the country or the nation was coming with them wallets. When Cube came to New York, the real bread from West Coast hadn't started yet. It's right after Cube got there. Then it started to get kind of crazy where it was like, you know, even down to retail and placement. You would walk into the Virgin Records right there in Manhattan, and you would, you know, Tower Records, and you would see West Coast. You know, when No Limit was coming, and then definitely by the time Cash Money came to it, when they stepped to the table, you would see Cash Money album, Juvenile. You see Juvie on like all over the racks. He have a cutout in the city in Manhattan. So these kind of things. So not to cut your wisdom with that, but I know it was because of the wallets. They was coming with that with the bread, just straight up.
So basically, they were cutting into
New York was still mixtaping, and
they were cutting into the bottom line.
this is free. Mix now the dudes pumping the tapes. Some was getting it way more than others, but you know how it go. You go put a verse on a mixtape, it's for nothing. You're not getting paid to rock on a mixtape. And New York kept that going for way too long, man. It was like we were so used to on the East Coast. We were so used to you know, and one in it that we and one ourselves into a motherfucking hole. You know what I'm saying? At some point, you got to pay what you weigh. You know, and I think that the East Coast missed the boat with that. All the other regions of the country was like, oh, okay, all right, we can get down with this. You know, P was giving out chains to his artists. Remember, New York started copying other regions. They had no choice. Like they started copying other regions when it came time to, everybody on your label got a chain. That started in another region. As far as I know, do you know, did that start in New York? I thought it started with like No Limit.
Yeah, No Limit with Master P. Yeah.
I didn't feel the for me personally, I didn't feel, because I feel like I'm like a product of that because, me and Ken is the same age, so it affected me more than it might have affected you. You might be in the next generation, but I'm not gonna lie, the sun might rise on the east, but it sets on the west. I listen, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that was hurtful. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is this coming from? You know what I'm saying? I didn't think New York personally had anything personal against those guys because we liked NWA. We liked, all of that stuff. It wasn't until little slick comments was being made, that certain guys, we heard that was in the street.
But to
I
Canibus,
don't want to cut your wisdom. I just don't want you the bigger picture is the bigger picture. And
talk about it.
I'm here to tell you it was about the bread. See, what happens with melanated people, right? That's why groups break up, right? New Edition, you know, leaders of the new school. I mean, name a group, man. Particularly East Coast groups, EPMD, like it gets back to the bread. So rather than try to let's speak in absolutes. Let's not get into the stuff that some of these folks still sitting around, they watch your show, they're gonna take offense to it. And it's something it's subjective, right? Like everybody can't come to the table and tell their side of the story, what they said and how it felt when they heard it and the response. It's not about, I'm telling you that it wasn't about that. It was about the paper. It was about them wallets and that bread. I'm telling you.
Because there's more attention.
Let me show you something real quick. Sorry to cut you, Kenny. Just to bring it home for you.
Good.
With the when he says the paper, right? This is how the paper worked out back then. The country was forced, not only the country now, but the planet. The planet was forced. They had no other choices but to listen to New York rap. There wasn't no other alternatives. So you had to like what was coming. If it was rap you were listening to, 99% of it was from New York at a time. So wherever you from, you had to learn that song, and it was a New York slang. Once the South started to talk and rap, even though we looked at it as whack, but there was so much more people that understood what they were saying, because in New Yorkers only sound like New Yorkers. As soon as you go over the bridge, it starts sounding different. You get to Delaware, it's over. You know what I mean? So now it starts to twang, and it starts to this. And over on the West Coast, you got everybody over there from Louisiana, from Mississippi, from Alabama. And then over here, you got the North Carolinians, the South Carolinians, and everybody's here, the DC people. So once we got conquered on language, that's when the money blew the fuck up crazy, because now you got more language, more customers, more groups, more money. So that's where we're putting the money. And like he said, P was ready to say, yo, put it all on that. He said, no, put it all on that. Over here, we so spoiled, we kind of scared money. Like, yo, I ain't putting shit on that, nigga. I can rap. I'm not putting nothing on that. I got talent. You feel me? So that's when the powers that be said, okay, we're going to make the switch. We're going to bring the audience over here to this slang talk, this twang talk. So if you remember, that's when Nelly started finding his way. Nelly had a whole Midwest that love with. As soon as he came, her, here, her, that was it. That was it. Her, that was it. It was over with. Lost Boys, we had our run, but then these niggas come from Louisiana looking just like us and bling blinging, but they really, you got to give it up. We got a whole state down here, Louisiana. We got a whole fucking seaboard down here that speaks this way. That's where the money's at. So, yeah, that's why it was about the bread. But not to say what you're saying is, even the wordplay, going back to what you're saying, Big, the wordplay is another offense that was biting at us. You feel me? That's when Mob and N.O.R.E and all them was like, yo, because they was the young guns back then. They didn't give a fuck. They was living to die. They needed beef. That's how they lived. They needed a beef. Queensbridge needed it. that whole, they all needed a beef. So when the Lil Daz and Dawg Pound and all them niggas start talking shit, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So the wordplay kind of woke us up too. Like, yo, y'all niggas ain't gonna start stunting on us, man. Y'all brand new. Fuck, this is New York, you know? So it's a combination of both, but the money won. And to this day, the money won. New York will never be back because it's too small.
Amen.
The world is here now.
The money, amen. Like, amen. Them source ads was 25 bands per ad. When you open up the source, he had several ads in the source.
Yeah, they put it all on.
All the dogs had a choker. They had all kinds of different color stones. It was retarded. He had a gold tank.
Yeah.
Gold M1 Abrams. So just
every Master P and every Cash Money album had diamonds on it. It had glitter on it. It was colorful. New York is a dark place. We about Tim's, jeans, Carhartts. Right. These niggas came with colors. They came with purple cars. Niggas came with purple sneakers. Right. It was over.
Right. Wu-Tang, even Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang they were the pinnacle of all super ultra lyrical and street. It was grimy. It was, they were standing around a burn barrel. You know what I mean? Standing around a burn barrel, protect your neck. They were the pinnacle of lyricism at that time. As a group, everybody was sharp, and yet even Starks, when you look at Ghost and Ray today and all that, and even early, I'm talking about early, like Starks showed his face, Ghostface showed his face because he wanted to be on the TV. He wanted people to know who he was. Like Wu-Tang started to get it was it might still have some Timbs on, but they started to flash. Think about it. By the time the second album, not Chambers, but by the time Triumph got there.
Let's rewind a little bit. Let's rewind a little bit for the viewers that don't know. In the beginning stages of Wu-Tang, Ghostface actually used to cover his face to hide his identity. Just for the people that don't know. And over time, as
it was the craziest concept ever. And so crazy because it was first. It was before Doom. It was
right.
No one was masked, right? And so just balaclava style, Ghost. But right after 36 Chambers, if you remember, even Wu-Tang started flashing. It was knots, it was jewelry, it was, Ghost had the eagle, Ray, they started flashing, and that's proof. That's proof that it was about that bread. I'm not trying to change the story of hip hop or nothing. What I'm saying is at the core of what you mean with what was said and all that, below the scenes, right underneath the surface of the water right there, them executives was looking at them sound scans, man. And they wanted results.
Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. We had to start following what they do. When Cream came, like you talked about the fire in the can, that was showing a broke rapper. That wasn't showing a money-making rapper.
Right.
So when the Southern Cats came, they showing, we got money, man. We got money and everything shines. So that's when we had to step it up. So that's when the Eagle came on. That's when Ray came with this, and that's when the Cream came. And then we started getting real juicy. You know what I'm saying? So Biggie came and he started getting, what I mean? Biggie. So we had to catch up. We had to catch up with them, and that wasn't our style. We was setting trends. But they made us sharpen our sword for real. Got to give it to them, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have love for
chair. Bigger. Your chair got golden wings.
Yeah, I actually.
No, I'm gonna come.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have me personally. I have love for all of those guys. And
damn, look at Indiana Jones. You look like the part Indiana Jones when they go to take it back to storage, man. You look like you're sitting in there. You just took things out the crates.
Yeah, we got a mini arc right here.
Yeah, the Ark of the Covenant right here.
That's an NFT right there all day.
Yeah.
Lord. Nick, that seat you sitting in right there, that behind you, that's the that chair right there, does it have like a tiger paw or a lion paw? Is that
Nah, this is actually the one on the side, not the chair. not the chair itself.
The Lions is on the side. You
Yeah, the
can't
line.
kind of see it.
Yeah, the lines is on the side. You can't really see it.
But
Wow, man.
but go.
So look, y'all would have got a deal
Just off of the set alone.
coming
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
X Clan right there.
Done
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. But going back to it, so there's no confusion. I think we all are one, and I kind of it for me it burdens me when we're separated. You know, I think that is a part of what destroys our culture. You know what I'm saying? I think we're all one. I think, so when I personally heard, I was in the South when these guys came out, so I know all about the Southern music and everything. I was in Georgia, I was in VA, I was there, before that whole movement started of what we know now. So I completely relate to all of that. I think again, it's when we get dictated to try to play a
Distracted.
role exactly to separate ourselves from being one family is where the confusion comes in at. So I'm not an author of any confusion. I think that we all are mixed together to become one. It's going to take, coming from here, coming from there, coming from there to make one unique, sound that we know now today is hip hop, which is a beautiful thing.
Well, let's bring it all together. Basically, we're all saying the same exact thing, and the bottom line, it always comes out down to money, because it started from that, and then started like a snowball effect, where ultimately people just started getting distracted from the immediate situation, and started reacting to everything that was going on. So it may have started with one thing, but ended up with something else, which was like the separation of the coast. You know what I'm saying? The regions and stuff like that. But ultimately, it all comes
You
down to the
you got to
bottom line.
remember, I come from the time when, one of my brothers were people that I claim to be a part of me. KRS-One, he had me believe that nothing existed besides Harlem, the Bronx, and maybe Brooklyn. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and to the
saying? I
and to the
come,
point of to
yeah,
the
I
yeah to
come, I
yeah
come from
to
that.
yeah
You
to
know
the
what I'm
point of Mr.
saying? And I had to one day, shout out to all my Jamaica Queen guys and all my family out there. They they took me out there and I started hanging with those guys, and they took me to the 40 projects, and they took me to, up on Jamaica Avenue hang out. I said, what the hell? The first thing I thought is, what that careless one lied to me. You know what I'm saying? This is not the way it was depicted. This is
Well, that's
like
exactly
this
what
is
Mr.
this
Pryor
is
was saying.
real. You know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
and now, Queens, look how Queens, took over in the foundation they laid for hip hop in New York. So it's we're all together in this. So yeah, it had to branch out and branch out and branch out. But I think we all should have respect for each other, and the different roles that we all played in it. And I think what might have kind of touched the heart a little bit for guys that was in my age category is that, yeah, I mean, New York is the foundation. Maybe any of this when it got started, if it wasn't for those guys in the Bronx, if it wasn't for, those guys in Manhattan, Harlem, Brooklyn. It's the foundation, so that is just what it is. But it's no one should get offended that see this. Bigger loves the world. Bigger loves all the kids. Bigger Bigger is about love, you know what I'm saying? Don't come at me. You know what I'm saying? That would
And
be
we left out Florida, we left out Miami. When I was in Miami, you talking about Miami bass, but you mean Two Live Crew.
yes, I love Two Live.
I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
running around,
But mind you, one of them was from Harlem.
huh?
Mind you, one of the Two Live members is from Harlem.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then they also had a group
Marquise.
called Afro Rican, and yeah, Marquise, and they
Yeah.
had a group
Yep.
called Afro Rican, and this is we talking about bass rock express. I mean, Miami bass was flashy. We was in Miami, and Ocean Ave. It wasn't like it is now. There were no skyscrapers down there. Remember, I'm
Right.
Jamaican. It's
Right.
Sunrise Boulevard, man. Like I was in Broward County when they do 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 do. I was there when they was chasing migrants over. You know, they had the flashlight on and they was jumping over gates and the door. The
Scarface
canines, like
days.
I was there. You know what I mean? And you know, and it was flashy still. It was flashy. It was always jewelry to everything. So always draw the distinction between, we know that New York is the birthplace of hip hop, and we understand that, we understand that lyricism and, mixing it up with the wordplay and everything that goes with it, the flat out poetry that comes out of and came out of New York was revolutionary. It was just like how you go on the West Coast, I'd say a group like, there were others, but I say like how the effect that NWA had on the world and Ice-T with Colors, like the effect that he had was because there was so much wrapped up in that poetry and what it meant, and it was a voice for people who didn't have one. Like Two Live Crew was a voice for Florida, for Miami, and so, but at the crux of it, them executives wouldn't have been touching it if it wasn't getting no bread, if them stadiums wasn't piling up, if them units wasn't moving, they wasn't touching it. So like I said, I reiterate that part. I'm gonna shut up about it. The East
Well,
Coast just waited a little bit too long to go ahead and pop the nitro. They just waited a little bit longer. They thought that it was still about what you saying, and then it became videos and the flash, and it was like all the other regions was like, it ain't just about what we saying, man. It's look at the barbecue. We having a barbecue. We outside, man. We enjoying ourselves. We enjoying our lives. Drop this, drop that. Listen, man. The entire, the whole goods and services and accessories and clothing and fashion and the magic and all of that. That was driven by the engine of hip hop and music. It was driven like we advertised all the brands. There's money that was made from that, national deficit money. And that's what the real issue was. Not a bad thing because we made it. All of us did make that bread. The hair, the stylist on the video made bread. The street team dudes made bread. The restaurants where you go to eat at made bread. The craft services made bread on the video sets. Everybody made bread. The driver made the bread. Everybody. We were an insulated community. We were a Black Wall Street of sorts. And so the arguments. I feel like if everybody continued to get the bread, I don't think a lot of them quarrels would have started, man. It just happened that it turned into where, it turned into who's getting the lion's share of what. And then, everybody took it to the rhymes to discuss how they felt and address it. But it was really always economic and monetary.
I gotta ask you this question here, based off of what you just said, and I would also love to hear Mr. Patterson opinion on this, being because this is his opinion is like platinum when it comes to something like this, and yours is too. So something triggered me when you said that. You said it wasn't about all what is said, but then I look at the current state of rap music right now, and we have this drill music, and we have this devil time music, and or demon time music, or whatever you want to call it. And we have music that degrades our black women, degrades ourselves, and it's almost is it not about what is said?
All right, here we go. Here we go. Right. Like once again, if Chirac got an airdrop of money, people would start leaving the borders, man. They would go elsewhere, man. Go live their life elsewhere and do something. You notice that because I ain't gonna lie to you. At one time, I found myself looking at, you know, looking at them on live. It just these different sets, and they was getting at each other in a whole lot of different ways. It was basically a whole nother level of battle or getting at each other. I'd never seen nobody do it like Chirac. I'd never seen nothing like that before. and they were on the live doing it, right? And Instagram days. And I always said to myself, if they got an airdrop of the bag, you know, then it would change, because I saw how the artists that were coming out of Chirac were able to land on their feet and do something, is because they went and they got deals. You know, they were able to jump the rope, get deals, and then they would leave. They would leave their native region. And it's that way all over the world with everything. You know, you have emerging markets in this global community, emerging markets. Once you get your airdrop of bread, you get your chance, you get your opportunity. Then things start to change. What you think, the way you think, it starts to change. You know, I'm gonna say this and shut up, and I'm gonna let Mr. Patterson get at it. Tesla, and George Westinghouse had a a, a difference of doctrine, and it started with George Westinghouse wanted to bottle up the energy and sell it, you know, per watt. Tesla wanted to, this is Nikola Tesla, by the way, for those that don't know. People probably think, oh, you talking about the dude in the car? No. Nikola, I know Elon probably, you know, really does have some affinity for Tesla, for Nikola Tesla, which is why he named his company after that. But George Westinghouse and Tesla, Nikola had two different ideologies. And George Westinghouse wanted to bottle it and sell it by the watt. Nothing wrong with that. It's capitalism. But Nikola, on the other hand, he felt that if you make it free, if you make energy free, and everybody can have energy, that increases the odds of education. That increases the odds of reading and writing, literacy. There's so much that goes along with what is increased, and it becomes exponential, that basically will have a better global community altogether, more so than just trying to charge per watt. Because per watt, it works in the short run, and in the mid run, it works. But you're going to have dark spots throughout the world, because some spots can't afford per watt. So you're going to have to, in the islands, third world countries, they have power like for 8 hours a day. Not everyone, but some of them have power for like 8 hours a day. And this is recent. This is 2023. There's some countries that have power for like 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, whatever their metrics is. And then the rest of the time they're in the dark. So that's what happened. Of course, it's going to happen to music. It happened to just people in the world. It happens all over the world. So, of course, in music, you're going to have areas and Chicago is one of them areas where the talent was always there. Once they started getting to it, they had it. It was just that they couldn't get an airdrop, and so they had to leave. Some of them got out. And then when they got out, they was extra with it, because they carrying the flag for their whole town, but you leave so many of your own behind that then that creates issues. And then, everybody else observing from the outside is like, yo, why they keep fighting? Why they keep having disagreements and quarreling? It's because they're not getting an airdrop that they can all stand on. Some is standing, some crawling, some swimming. It's not, equality is unbalanced. Now I'm gonna shut up about it, but I believe that's what the core issue is.
I would love to hear your take on it, Mr. Patterson.
Yeah, let's hear about it.
Yeah, I think you know what? It all goes hand in hand nowadays, man. What's said and the bread. It all goes hand in hand.
I can respect that.
I mean, that's why we got reality shows.
Basically, that's what Canibus said.
You see what's said in the bread.
That's it. It goes hand in hand. I'll give you an example. Back when we had the Cosby Show, it was about the message. It was about the Huxtables. This is a lawyer as a wife, and it's a doctor as a husband. And these are the children they made, and these are the colleges they went to, and these are the lives they led. The worst thing about the Cosby Show was Theo failing in school, you know, like that was a problem.
Right.
Yeah, that was our biggest thing. But now, like you say, when the words come and the derogatory words come, and that's where the interest is generated, the worldwide interest. Cosby Show is a good show, but Married with Children is where the words started being like damn near curses. Okay, so who had a longer run and who made the more money? And not only to say the different in colors, but my point is in music, the money generated when the beef started coming. When NWA said fuck the police, like it or not, the money started rolling in because white America got involved, Nazis got involved, KKK got involved, everybody that was anti-police got involved. Even everybody that was pro-police got involved because these niggas got the audacity to come out here and say fuck the police with Jerry Curl. So that made money for magazines, that made money for record labels, that made money to sign other artists, that made money to send them over everywhere. It just expanded the industry. So leading up to today, 2024, you can't just have an album anymore or a song. You gotta have at least a year in jail, okay? And it had to be a big trial. Like Young Thug, he's in the books. He got his whole survival kit on what it takes to make it today. Because words got him his fame got him his money. Derogatory words, not good shit, because there's no money in good shit anymore. There's no money in good news. There's no money in good people. There's no money in good marriages. There's no money in good grades. There's no money in good behavior. You gotta send niggas to jail. That's why we build them. You gotta send kids to rehab. You gotta put kids on medicine. So all of this revolves around words. How do we take positive, turn it into negative? Oh, no problem. We'll just put salaciousness on it. This is what we'll show to the people. So now Housewives comes out. Now hip hop, Love and Hip Hop comes out. All of this stuff is surrounded by words that cause deception, but makes money. Money. And remember, the money makers don't care where the money comes from. They just need the money. It's no different than the street. Just bring back the money and bring more every time you come. Because the nigga across the street, NBC, he figured out how to get the money. The nigga over there, CBS, he figured out how to get the money. How do we get more money over here at Fox? Okay, let's talk about Republicans all day. Let's love Republicans. Let's love Donald Trump. See what that does. Well, damn, that makes sense. CNN, MSNBC, CBS, they all love Democrats. They all. And this is where we're at, fellas. So, long story short, words and money have a lot to do with each other. And today, derogatory words brings big bag. Huge bag. That's why you don't have, you don't have, you don't have that shit no more. You got kill them, fuck them, suck them, drunk them, and let's go.
You know what's crazy?
Right?
Love. You don't have love, Mr. Patterson.
Love. Love.
You know what? I'm gonna say this right now on your show, Bigga. Yo, Love is Love came from Mr. Patterson. How about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna hold that. That's me all day. I ain't gonna hold you. I got the tattoo.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's a couple. Love is Love. You're finished. Now I know that's like some Humphrey Bogart shit, but he was the first to use it in the office. Yo, you're finished, man. He was the first. He was the first because he was saying it up in the office. Somebody started saying it downstairs, outside, and Love is Love too. I'm telling you.
That's amazing right there. That's amazing.
We had a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun, B. I swear to God. Yeah, I want to show y'all niggas a lot of shit one day. I don't even know y'all, but y'all need to hear a lot of this stuff. I'm telling you, it's a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. I'll show you exactly not from the street side, but from behind the scenes side. You know, where there were certain doors you guys couldn't go through. It would be good for you guys to learn what went on behind those doors one day. So yeah, keep building, man. You see me, I'm smoking, so
We're gonna get into them doors.
Yeah,
Well, we're gonna talk
absolutely.
about them doors. Clear. Let me be clear.
Um, um, Ken. So what? Who? I want to ask you this: Who inspired? Who inspired you? You know, would you say inspired you to be the lyricist that you are? One of the top 5 lyricists of all time.
Wow, man, that's a heavy anvil to wear. Um,
But that's who you are, brother. There's no need to deny it or be shy from it or anything like that. Anyone that know this game and know that cannot say the top 5 lyricists and not put you in that.
100%.
right. Well, I know you're gonna be quarreling with them. You're gonna be quarreling with them, Bigger, because man, they get in them comment sections, man, and they be, man, listen.
Let him talk.
I bet you
Let-
in the comment section everybody's going to agree. We'll see.
And once again, aside from when I was, at Uptown and Island, I mean, I was a worker at Uptown and I was a worker at Island, um, we had a good time. But when I got to like Universal and I was an artist, I got to tell you, man, like, I always salute Universal for this is all these years later now. Like, I I, I accept what you said and I appreciate it, right? And then I put it back in the chest and I close it because there are so many along the way that did hold me up and that echoed what I was trying to do. There was so many. When you look at how Universal, there was placement placards put in stores all over the world, international, say cannabis, can I bust? And they put, before that, we know it was with Clef with the Gone to November, Sony really set it off. Sony had set it off. Sony was paying for my flights. It was paying for everything. Universal didn't have to give Sony anything, and that was on the muscle, on Clef's muscle and Tom Mottola, right? And people in that network. But when Universal pressed the button and they put the nitro on it, they put the placards everywhere. In retail, it was everywhere. And, you know, there's a guy like the Wizard, we call him the Wizard, but he always say that to me, like, okay, man, they really put money behind you. And, I agree with him. And yet I've always been saying that because you never heard me come out on all them 4, 5, 6,000 songs that I done did and dish Universal. The only time when I said, fuck my record label, I pick courtesy of myself. Like back then, everybody loved it, but I said it for the shock value. Universal was walking around saying, "You fuck my record label, I pick courtesy of myself. Get out of here, Canibus. All right, you coming to the party tonight?" We're like, yeah. You know what I mean? They loved it because I said the name Universal. I was on the UNI versus all. So, I have to say that if it wasn't for those resources, man, wouldn't nobody even know my name, man. They wouldn't know my name. It would have got drowned out. And that takes us back to the conversation with that budget bag, man. It's everything. I'm gonna bring up one thing and I'm gonna shut up about it. When 50 Cent was on the cover of, was it Vibe? It was Vibe. He was on the cover of Vibe and he had that ICW watch on and it was official and everybody saw he signed to Interscope, or it was Interscope or Shady. It was Shady, right? That's how the logos went. And when they saw him like going on the treadmill and all that, everybody just those who were on the fence, they capitulated. Those who didn't, man, they just went to war with the A team. And look how all that turned out. It's that investment, man. And proof of that is, look at Ukraine, man. Ukraine, a lot of things happening and all that, but the way I'm hearing it, like they got heat over there. They got heat. There's resources, there's device. Now there's a lot of things going on with that, but I'm just here to tell you that once you're given resources, things start to look up because there's morale, there's an increase of unit morale and people. If you build more churches other than more prisons, then you probably have a better community. But that's just what it's always been that. And so for me, the lyricism, man, it just goes under the fucking rug, man, because the poetry's there. Like everything that's happening now, that's will happen, all of these things. It's not because I'm some type of, alchemist and Merlin and I'm sitting there and because, you're above water, and the freaking, your magic, your crystal ball works better because of the confluence of the water and, the aqua and the vibes and the ley lines. No, when I was making that, I just wanted to make a body of lyrics, catalog to where you could even interchange them. I was doing scientist shit, you know what I'm saying? But it was rap. And I was doing it without any boundaries. And nobody was trying to stop me from having fun with my imaginary, like my imaginary laboratory. But once the bread sort of, where it waned, right? That's where it was like, well, I don't know, man. It's not like, it's not valuable anymore. But all of these things that are happening now, there's a line in there about that. Maybe quite a few lines in there about, you know, um, how everything's gonna go digital and going digital, and even the types of digital things. And it's just there. It's there for everybody to see. So when you say to me, right, it came from the creator, but I was the vessel. When you say to me that, yo, you talk for all the time, like, look, man, it sure don't feel like it. And I'm not deflecting. I'm not in denial about anything. I'm saying that for something that there's a body of work that really is there that really would give folks a leg up on what they're looking at, what they're dealing with, the future. It's dumb funny to me how you know there is no course, college course, or there is no there's no discourse about those particular works. There's none, because it goes in one ear out the other, or above the head, and so that's why for me it's like a numb feeling. It's a very numb feeling. It's like I accept it from you and I appreciate it, and I guess I'm glad it's that way because I'm more comfortable with the way that things did, shake out than had it been, you know, you putting somebody on the pedestal and then it's in the videos. Because if you look, a lot of the artists, man, they start to go through it when they reach that pinnacle and that summit, and now they become the target, right? I became a target in a lot of ways too, like in just like in rap I became a target of sorts, and I'm persona non grata, just like Dennis Hopper, And I want to send a shout out to, the essence of and the, pretty much like the influence and the professionalism of Carl Weathers. I want to say that. I want to say that man, you know, having a VHS beta, that my old man came off Cricketor, he brought it back off Cricketor, VHS beta, and you put the tape in in the 70s, and I was watching American films and American movies, and I gotta tell you, when I saw that man on the screen, if a nigga didn't want to, you know, get out of Jamaica and go do what he doing, or Action Jackson, or get wherever you at, in Florida and Miami, man, you want to be Action Jackson. Look at that broad. This nigga just jumped over a car. Look at his muscles. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I say that nigga Carl Weathers, man. So it's Carl Weathers, it's Wesley Snipes, Jeffrey White, and Michael Jai White, yo. There's a couple others like
Jeffrey, right?
You like Jeffrey, right? Jeffrey, yeah.
What?
Jeffrey Wesley and Michael Jai White. Those four and Carl Weathers.
Yeah, Michael J. White is nasty.
But now Michael Jai White and Wesley Snipes put together It's like what Carl Weathers. Oh, that rhyme too. All right, let me write that down. Yeah, Michael. Yeah. Wesley Snipes, Michael John White put together is Carl Weathers. That's what it was, man. You know what I'm saying? Because Carl Weathers could act too, though. He could act. He could act. Wesley Snipes could really act, and so could Michael John White. But Carl Weathers was early in the game, man. He was early, and I want to send a shout out to him, man, because I really
Rest in
to
peace.
his family and his family. I know what happened and all that. I just don't like to look at it that way, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it really threw me for a loop. Because remember, he got the little work in the Mandalorian. It was a very big deal for me when I saw him on the Mandalorian. I was like, yo, right, that's right. They gave him a little run. You know what I'm saying? Because he deserved it. He deserved so much more. That man. You know what I would love to see, and if I ever came across it and it were possible, I would, put together some type of, where just if I had a wish, right, I would wish to have the budget to get these movie studios to go back into those films and get the B rolls because I can promise you every single take action, he gave it 100%. I guarantee you every single take, he gave it 100%, man. And to me, you know what I'm saying? He was always action on that screen. And, we got others, man. We got Wesley. I just watched The Hitman, the latest one that Wesley dropped. You know what I'm saying? Michael Jai White, I stay up on him. Jeffrey Wright, he go quiet every now and then, but he's an incredible actor. Mr.
Yeah, yo,
Patterson,
he come hard every time. I ain't a pause. There you go. Jeffrey
but
Wright.
I have a question for the both of you, Mr. Patterson and Canibus. We'll start with Mr. Patterson. Real quick, we talk a lot today about music, the music genre, and a lot of it gets confused. It gets confused with identifying hip hop as the music portion of the culture, where hip hop is actually the culture itself that embodies several elements. Can you tell us, starting with Mr. Patterson, what was your first influences in the hip hop culture in itself? We're not just talking about the music; we're talking about the actual culture.
My first influence was I was in dance hall reggae before hip hop.
There you go. Talk about it.
I got a bigger brother now. His name is Shinehead. I don't know if you guys remember him.
Of
Yeah, for
course,
sure.
man. Yes.
Sure.
Much respect to
Yeah.
Shine Head.
Yeah.
Was Englishman and the Englishman in New
Yes, the
York, right?
Shine Head
Yeah,
was
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Come on, much
You know.
Yeah.
respect.
So Shinehead brought me up in the game, and me and Shinehead we were inseparable pause for years in the reggae world. And he was hip hop,
You had to do that
he
Harlem
did the
thing.
Bronx, but he was doing the reggae thing. And that's where my first real hip hop / reggae influence came from. And then from there, I started riding the wave with Flash. I started going to we used to go to block parties back then and shit, and they had these little crews, like they had the Cold Crush 4, they had Fantastic Five, Cold Crush 4, Cold Crush Brothers. They had
Shout out to Grandmaster Cass.
The Treacherous Three.
GNC, Treacherous 3. Then they had some little small crews too, like in everybody's city. In Mount Vernon, you had Atomic Rock. In Yonkers, you had Yanel and his crew. So you had them little pockets of crews too. So you couldn't help but start like that beat because the cars was just every car that came through the block had big speakers, and it wasn't R&B, it wasn't Teddy Pendergrass, it wasn't Marvin Gaye, it was some other shit. It was something that spoke to me. So between Shinehead and between the little block parties I started going to, it was over with, man. It became part of my DNA. Then we started going to the clubs, T Connection, Rooftop.
Yeah.
We go up to the skating rinks in New Rochelle. We go to the skating rinks in the Bronx. Wherever hip hop was, that's where it was. They had a rink out in Jersey, Inglewood. So Shinehead, that's my claim to music all day long. We We matter of fact, all three of us, we brothers. But
Right, yeah,
yeah,
Shine. Call, and yo,
yeah,
to this
man, Carl,
day,
yeah, I about.
Shine get busy. Yo, Shine get busy to this day. Like Shine did
Absolutely.
something in late last year. He did something in Central Park. Straight sound and all that, man.
Yeah,
Sound
Slick,
check
him
like
and Slick
on.
Rick, Slick Rick was on that show with him. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
So
it was,
so and tell him too, Mr. Patterson, like tell him because what he asked you was poignant and your response was as well, but tell him how pretty much how because I sent them the clip of you on stage with damn near every
Absolutely.
R&B artist from the 90s that made any noise. Like they were the loudest, you know what I'm saying, label with artists R&B. Tell them how it was with that with that R&B and like and then like basically how Heavy wanted to go so for real. Heavy didn't want to go grab no rap. Heavy wanted so for real. Like tell them how that was with the Jodeci. Mary had Keith Murray on there. Like because you were there. You were an executive at the time when Method Man got on Mary's joint. Like tell him how that was.
so the one thing I can say about back then, man, you see that etiquette and that attitude that Atlanta has. Atlanta's kind of they're there for one another, no matter what. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and back then, that's kind of how we was rocking. You know, I can't help but love, man. That's just who I am. Ask anybody who knows me. It's just love. So when I had an artist, or when I signed an artist, or when I had a party, whatever I was a part of, it had to be love, and it had to be a group. Everybody had to come together. And Puff was the same way. He loved to bring a beat together that didn't make sense. I'd love to bring artists together that didn't make sense. But to answer your story, R&B became hip hop in those days. It just became funkier. No difference from blues to jazz. No difference from punk rock to Blink 182. So
So there was a fusion.
huh?
There was a fusion.
Right, the fusion. So that's when the hip hop R&B came, man, and that's when Suits, Heavy D was doing the thing, and Purple Suits, and then Puff came with the shiny stuff. So the merge of that started a wave, and then we had this thing where a Method Man sounded good in our head with Mary, so we
Mm-hmm.
became good with Wu. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we figured that Keith Murray, boom, we became good with Sermon. So now the executives started to become good with the artists. When executives never really had a reputation of being good with the artists, because fuck my A&R, fuck you know what I'm saying? It was always they would go on record with that. But when they, yeah. But when they came uptown, it was different, man. It was nothing but love, you know what I mean? And that's just what they felt when they came in. So we get an artist to do anything for us, man. If I threw a party, I had a party with Brand Nubian, Jodeci, and Mob Style. Who thinks of that shit? You know what I mean? Who thinks of that shit? And it was a blast. You know what I mean? Nobody got shot. Nobody fought. AZ had
Nobody
about
never get
20.
shot.
AZ had about 20 billion on his head, nigga,
Right.
and it was all love. You know what I mean? So original AZ, Uptown Harlem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah,
I hope I
definitely.
answered
Shout
your
out.
question, man.
So back to
R&B didn't let rap in the doors, is what I'm saying. It would
Well,
have
we
been
paid. It's all about that
hard.
money. You couldn't get on that shit unless you paid. It was definitely about
Right.
that paper. So that
Right.
was something new too. Old artists that was dusty. They was just dusty, and they said, "Damn, who's this? Who's this Heavy D wants to use my beat?" They didn't know what that was. So that became a whole hustle.
I know for my generation, I think New Edition definitely played a big role in helping that transition come
That was our
that's
through.
a good
Beatles,
point.
man. New Edition was the
Exactly.
'90s Beatles.
Yeah, they took hip hop and it was like they transcend from just an R&B group. They were like what we have now, like a hip hop R&B, group. Mary J. Blige, who I wanted to ask you about there, she's like our queen. She definitely played a major role in, bringing that, together. From when I was a kid, this is what I saw, and when I
Mary
noticed
spoke.
it
Mary
to
spoke to
blend.
your sister. She spoke to your sister. Mary spoke to your little sister. She
Yeah.
spoke to. She spoke to every lost girl. She spoke to him right there in the face. I know exactly what you're going through. I'm going
Yeah.
through it. Okay, I'm going through the whole shit. My mom's is never sober. Okay, I live in a place called Slow Bomb Projects. Slow Bomb. Now, how more direct can it get? All right, that's where I live. That's where I'm from. So she spoke to your daughters. She spoke to all the single mothers, and she didn't sing great, but she sang with some kind of pain, man, that made her sound great. So when you say Mary, Mary was our Aretha Franklin, B, and she
Yes.
still is. You know what I mean?
Yes, she is.
It's
Much
just what it is,
respect.
man. You can't take nothing away from her. I don't care what happens. She already got that.
Yeah, much respect to her. You know. Um,
But let's get Cannabis's answer to that question about his first influences in the
that's what I
culture.
was about to go
Okay,
back
all
to. I
right, you
thought
know what I'm saying?
he think that he
Yeah,
slid away
right,
from that
right,
one. I was
right.
about to go back to that.
We don't ran with it, right?
Yeah, he.
I was hearing the thing, and I hear sometimes it come on the radio. It's like, pack up the back on the back and then chill. He said, it's not the Joe Bobby Brown did when he was rapping. That song for the Ghost.
That was the joy.
Yo, the nigga Bobby just started rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's R&B, right? And then what's it, Ronnie, Ricky and
Rick and
Mike.
Mike.
If I ain't
If
let
I
the
let the
girl, who
girl, who
cares who?
cares who you like?
Yo, listen. The first rap mainstream, you know what I'm saying? It kind of came out of R&B, right? You know, um, now my influences, of course, you know, Rakim, Cool G Rap, Big Daddy Kane, um, you know, Furious, you know what I'm saying, Five, Wu Tang, Buckshot, Black Moon, right? You know, I couldn't I couldn't cross over at the time. Mr. Patterson to tell you, I showed up. I had glasses on. That's before medicine. That's before I had my laser surgery and all that. Before I got the bread to go get the laser surgery. But I had glasses. And even before that, I had braces, right? Like, so you got to understand, I mean, like, I wasn't pulling the broads and all that. I wasn't even thinking about, I was a virgin till I was 19. I'm all caught up now, but I was a virgin till I was 19. So you're talking about I had damn near just got to, the music industry, I must have been like 20, 21. You understand what I mean? So how could I have really related to, you know, like the Jodeci, the new edition, and they singing and they crooning to these broads, and they're like, I gravitated towards, damn, no, I can't get no company, man. So let me just go over here and talk about ripping niggas' heads off. You understand what I'm trying to say? Give me the microphone. You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's like, you don't get no visitors. You don't got no company. So you stuck to talk about destroy. No build, you know what I mean? No have a party or whatever. We in the studio, the studio stink, the incense stink too. We stink, the incense stink. It's just stink. You know what I'm saying? But now from that's how hip hop, it was about everybody putting in, 18-hour shifts to make music that we loved. We liked it. It was a lot of imagination going on. Like probably the most creative um genre that started with nothing. It's probably the most creative. It was the most creativity came out of the early days of hip hop. I'm talking about my era though. Because before that, we could get with what they well, like I said, the Rakims. You know what I'm saying? The G Raps, the Canes. You know what I mean? And there were more. There were more. You know what I'm saying? I say it all the time. K Solo with the rhyme did it. That happened to be one of the most creative rhymes, raps that you could say about the rhyme. The rhyme jumped off the paper, came to life. So without just like sound like I'm sitting up here, saying these names, that people just keep hearing, and it's like, oh, he's saying those names. So what about Kendrick? What about Drake? What about J. Cole? They're nice too, man. They get busy too. You know what I mean? And it's just different times, right? And that's the thing. There was less to do with the brand back then as there is now. Now it's like you got to have the whole package now. Back then you could have showed up to the studio with glasses with medicine in it, with braces in it. You're trying to get your shit right. You got to wear the braces to go ahead and get it right. You can't see. You put no contacts on. Go ahead and wear the glasses.
Let me.
We weren't the first choice, in the club for the bras, right? We weren't the first choice. We was making music. They didn't want to hear that shit. They didn't want to hear that. They ain't got no money. What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And we were just being creative. We were building, saying castles in the sky.
Yeah.
My
Can
earth
I
called us. He called, don't build castles in the sky.
can I touch on that real quick? Can I touch on that real quick? And you mentioned marketability. Back in the days, I've been DJing for like ever since I can remember, for like well over 40 years. And there's always
Woo!
been conversations within like DJs and people that are music enthusiasts about the marketability of certain types of artists. Back in our era, which I consider the golden age of rap and hip hop, would be like the '90s, right? The late '80s to the early to mid '90s, and a lot of the conversations around that time circled around like artists like Busta Rhymes. People back in the days used to say Busta Rhymes, yo, he's never gonna be anything to what he is now. He's too raspy. We can't do anything with it. You know what I'm saying? Like his music is is uh is very linear. You know what I'm saying? And contra to that, today Busta Rhymes just happens to be like one of the largest figures in the culture as far as like musically and globally, and more one of the most recognized artists. Now, in terms of yourself, a lot of people also said that about you, Canibus. Like back in the days, it was like and I've heard you even mention that in several interviews as well. The ability for you to be able to be marketed within like certain certain I guess areas. How could you touch on that? And you mentioned like a lot of things that may have played into that in itself. And the reason that I want to bring that up is because there's a lot of people that actually bring that up. Like I said, bring it up in conversations, and a lot of arguments about it, and questions about blackballing and things of that nature. Could you touch on that?
Right. So you know what? And I wanna go ahead and take that moment to just like I left Trevor Buster out.
No, shout out to Busta Rhymes.
I shouldn't have did that. Of course, right? Of course, I shouldn't have did that. I left him out because Buster like a little dirt on me in the Vlad TV interview, and so I just don't say his name because I don't want him to say nothing later on and be mad about nothing. Basically, but us go in front of him. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want if I say a feel, then I just leave him alone. Right? So I left his name out, but it wasn't deliberate. It was just pretty much like, you know what I mean. I wasn't, I didn't even want to, I just, you know what I mean. So anyway, he's a one in a century artist. You get one of him in an entire century. You'll only get one. If you're lucky, you get one. Buster has adapted and adjusted, you know, in ways that I think it more so, this is me talking, so it's my opinion, but I think it's more so coming from like his lineage, right? Like a West Indian Caribbean lineage where it's like, look, man, he can jump rope every single way. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you want, he can jump the rope. And so that's what he's done, and he's proved it. And he's a testament to what Caribbean people do when given that run, when they have the talent. He's a testament to that. You get one of him a century if you're lucky. I saw him at the performance, you know, when I was watching it on the screen, and you know, because we all getting up there now, right? It's a little salt and pepper going on. I'm a little bigger. I'm a little big. I'll put this on because I'm a little bigger now.
I got it coming in too. Got it coming in too. It's part of
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah.
You see it, right? You see
Yes, part of life. It's our wisdom.
the salt and pepper coming in. And look, soon, real soon, sooner than later, it's going to be all salt, right? So,
We got some time on that. We got some
Yeah,
time
yeah.
on that.
so my OG's like a Buster. You gotta have salt. There's gotta be salt there. And this man stood up on the joint like this. And he was like, but he wasn't moving. He wasn't moving. He was just standing. You know what I'm saying? Me and Mr. Patterson spoke on it. We was like, yo, man, he's still. And in my mind, I'm like, yo, anybody else on this planet would have bit their tongue off. You hear me? They would have bit their tongue off, man. Straight sheared through their tongue. And so I apologize for leaving him out, straight up and down, man. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the inspirations, man. He used to dominate the track. You know what I'm saying? It was just it was like he used to run up in the place and just tear it on the place. That's what he used to do. And he's one of those. He belongs right along with those names, you know, the Rakims, the you know, G-Rap, the Kings. Matter of fact, he was jumping rope in a way that the few have ever jumped rope on the mic. All right, so now we got out the way. Um, you know, and of course, right, when you talented like that, you achieve breakaway speed, and you know what I mean. Like he achieved breakaway speed. He achieved, you know, an opportunity for something where it's like, all right, you can rap, like that's easy for you. You could do that in your sleep. But now, how do we make you mainstream pop? Now it should be enough. His you know, that raw talent, excuse me, should be enough to achieve breakaway speed. But you know, any of y'all know as well as I do that it still just ain't that easy. You know, in this world, we come in like this, and things are just not. It's not the same kind of terrain that we running over. There's potholes. There's ancillary things. You know what I mean? That'll throw you right off. You know what I'm saying? Your mission. It'll just get you right up out of there. You know, injury, a thing you can't make the right. So he achieved breakaway speed with markability because of things like, for example, and you know, Mr. Patterson can expound on this a little bit more, where there's a rumor in the industry where, like, when he was at Electra, you know, that video with Janet cost like 7 or 10 million tickets, yo. It was $7 to $10 million, man. And it could have been more. I'm not sure. But I know that at least it was $7 to $10 million for that video with Janet. At that time, I know there was no artist that had a video, no rap artist that had a video that cost that, man.
Yeah.
Now the
It's actually
video, of
documented.
course, cost that. It was doing CGI. It was doing shit that you almost you can't really do it with you can do stuff with CGI. It's crazy that you can do stuff like that now. But his video was real though. It was really, I think, what is Hype Williams did that? I think. I'm not sure. But the video with Janet cost a grip, several grips, and he achieved breakaway speed even just making that happen, you know. And there's a rumor just all the fallout that happened because of it, but he still achieved breakaway speed with that, you know. I know that if off the books, if you had a good enough relationship where you was around, like let's say you was Spliff Star, I'm sure Spliff Star know that Busta doesn't, he probably don't think that it did what he wanted it to do. But from me sitting here, I could tell you that he achieved breakaway speed with that video and that album during that time and them songs. He was right there with Big on the, flavor in your ear. Like, yo, Busta always showed improved when you talking about that marketability, that thing you talking about. And then he was also off the mark early because when we was watching Leader of the New School, they had hair on their face. They still in high school. Like, it didn't make no sense to me, but I didn't care. I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I ate it up. And they had licenses. They was driving vehicles. They was able to stay outside after the street lights came on. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to Howard University to see them, I mean, they would have broads everywhere. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they had it all. So of course, that marketability you're talking about, and being something that people like, yeah, I'll invest in that. You gotta have that.
But there was not to.
I didn't have that, and
All right,
rap just didn't have that.
We'll get back to that. But I just want to make it clear that there was a period of time where his marketability was questionable, even within the industry. And there was a lot of talk about that. There was a period of time where everybody questioned, like, how far, and we're just using him as an example, as
Right,
those
of
sorts
course.
of conversations. It's nothing against, it's nothing against Busta. Shout out to Busta Rhymes.
No.
But
Hold on. No,
but
look, real
no,
quick.
no. I just want to finish. I just want to finish the thought. There was a period of time where that was questionable, and I want to make the correlation between that questionability of Busta Rhymes and the questionability that was equal to your career, because there was also a period of time where you even talked about it, where there was your marketability was questionable, and I know you want to touch base on that, but I just want to make it clear for the listeners that are kind of like not clear on that. So I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
Okay, as a DJ for 40 plus years,
Yeah,
right?
go
You
ahead.
got your belts, man. You got plenty of belts. Like, you know what you're talking about down to a science. You the DJ. You know what
I
time it
like to
is.
think so.
Buster was like, we looked at Buster like, yo, he could do it all. He
Yeah,
was like a L, for example, but even more than L when it came to that microphone. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, Buster was unfuckable. Niggas know that shit.
yeah.
We all know that. Buster. I remember when Cassidy came to my bus. This is when Cassidy was young. Cassidy was young, man. Cassidy had glasses on. And he was young and he's like tiny. And he came to my bus and banged on the door at Smoking Goose store. Doom, 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 doom. Yo, I know you in there. I want to battle. Come outside, bitch.
What? What?
1998, Cassidy did that. And I didn't, I'm in my mind, I'm like, battle. You know what I'm saying? So I'm getting up to go outside and I got Aguilar with me, that's Adolf. I had some other folks on the bus. So we get outside and it's Cassidy there, right? And he looking at me and shit. Looking at me and shit. And in my mind, I was like, nigga got hard. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why he did that to me. I just don't know why. Like, it made more sense than it would have been somebody brolic like a Freddie Fox or something. But it was Cassidy, man. So when I came outside and I seen him, I said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to do that because, you know what I'm saying? Shorty was by himself. Cass was by himself too. And I was like, oh hell no, I'm not doing that, man, because he got a mother and a father, or a mother. Somebody is waiting for him to come home. He probably not even supposed to be there. You know what I'm trying to say? And so I just looking at him and I'm trying to think of how to back out that door facing front. And then Aguilar was like, yo, you ain't got to say shit, bitch. I got this. And so Aguilar started rhyming with him. And they start going for broke with each other. And Cass was really swinging that iron around. and he was reckless with it, and he was talking crazy, and it sounded a real crazy coming from him because at that time, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't no super thug, but he was talking everything, and it was crazy. And then Busta came over to the cipher. Adolf was doing the damn thing. Adolf was presenting issues and obstacles for Cass, but Cass was still spitting his shit, and he just kept rhyming. It like I could tell that okay, we're gonna be here all day. He's like how I was, you know what I'm saying? You just got rhymes.
Yo,
all day,
Biz, how old
all
was
day.
he?
Cassidy had to have been about 15, 16 years old. He wasn't an adult. He wasn't no adult. There's no way. He wasn't an adult. He
Spitting
was a
bars.
teenager. And so Adolf, Adolf older, Adolf closer to my age. So Aguilar is rhyming, and he like getting at Cassidy with simple rhymes. Cass was coming with crazy shit, and Adolf was like, yo, oh shit, I got shell toes now. He's like, yeah, it was a face you. Tuesday I came out to bust to face you. So take off my shoes and lace you. Everybody's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Yo, Aguilar funny as hell. So anyway, they doing that, and then Busta Trevor over to the cipher, and this nigga start rhyming. This the great, right? Start saying some shit. And with that, that's what I mean about, remember, man, no cameras, no do this for the YouTube, no league or nothing like that. Busta just came over and did that. So all of us, it was a good, clean break when Busta did that. Because when he did it, he was basically, we all got what we wanted. Like, this nigga Cash come bang on my tour bus door. You know what I'm trying to, on my window, boom, 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 boom. I go outside, Aguilar get at him. He's serving Aguilar back. Aguilar serving him, and then Busta came over there. I didn't have to say nothing. Busta came over there, and Busta like tore that joint down real quick.
So what you mean? He shut Cassidy down?
Yeah, let's say what it is.
No,
Woo-ha!
Busta came over there and basically battled all of it. He wasn't kicking on you all lyrics, yo. When he came over, because remember he was on the Smoking Grooves tour, and he would headline if Clef wasn't headlining, Fuji wasn't headlining, Refugee All Star wasn't headlining, then Bus was headlining, and if it wasn't him, it was Fat Joe and Terror Squad. So, and then if it wasn't him, it was like PE. Like sometimes we took turns, but and then I wasn't headlining, I was just there because Clef, right? But when Bus came over, Busta was like getting at all of us. You feel me? Like he came over to the cipher and it was a circle already. It was a cipher. I won't call it battling. It wasn't battling the way that they battle now. What they do now is different.
Yeah, Cassidy just had written. DNA Law had written, and they was going they written back and forth. And Cassidy fucking remember all the rhymes, and he had mad rhymes.
Aguilar had no writtens. Aguilar didn't do writtens. I don't know how well you know him. That's how he is.
Yeah.
That's how he is. Like he, he's off the chain when he's off the chain. Yeah. Cassidy has some writtens, but Cassidy was going for broke too with other things because when he said take off your boots and lace you, Cass started grabbing shit from out the air because he had to because Aguilar was going crazy. But they was doing the damn thing, and then Busta came over and he let us all have it, right? And that to me, like when you talk about marketability, and as a DJ, when you talk about artists that have packages, like he was like the only artist that had a package like that, man. In at that time that was like that. He could jump rope in every single arena. That's why he was on the remixes. But then he still touched the mixtape. You know what I'm saying? But then he could still go, he's doing, like a record with, him on Mariah, or he's doing, he was all over the place, Flavor in Your Ear. He was everywhere. So of course I couldn't be that, man. Of course I couldn't be that. Like we there was no way. You know what I'm trying to say? And you know what? We shouldn't have to all have that type of marketability. At least not back then. Now you need that. You need to be able to jump rope everywhere. But back then, we should have had a little bit more time to cultivate our era. Like our era didn't get like long, man. We didn't get much time. And even though we got maybe we got more time than our OGs. Because maybe not, right? Like if they started in 80, when did Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick Run DMC, which is 82, 83, 84.
Dougie
When
Fresh and
was it?
Slick Rick, that was 85.
That was before my time, so yeah.
Yeah, that was like 84, 85.
Yeah, I think Run DMC
85.
came out in like 1984, 85.
All right, so I'm 10 years old. So from 85, let's give them 84 because they was rocking before that. They just wasn't on the TV where you could see them on either BT, because there was no BT in 85. It was only MTV.
Yeah, Run DMC.
Video music
Yeah,
box,
yeah.
nigga. Rock
Run
McDaniel.
DMC is a little bit
Now that's New
earlier.
York. That's New York. If you were in Miami, you didn't get anything. Yeah.
You got the box in Miami. Remember the box?
Yeah.
I didn't get to the box. Watch no box, man. That was cable TV. And we didn't have no cable. We
No,
still
we
had
had
no
the.
black and white.
I think we had the box too. I think you used to call up that shit and say what you want to box. That shit was like that shit was channel 25 or 23 or some shit in New York. We used to watch
Yo,
the
mama,
box.
You had
my
to find
Jamaican,
it. Yeah, you had to find it.
That shit was on
my
for a little
Jamaican
bit.
grandmother, used to whoop me for trying to play hip hop music on her little her stereo, her Emerson stereo set, bro. Like that just wasn't happening. You know what I'm trying to say? And most people didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to Ralph McDaniels too, because you're right. Like there was outlets for that. But when it came to having, from 84 to say 92 with Nas and Buckshot and Black Moon, I would say around 92 is when the new breed, when you could, live at the barbecue, that was still before the night. But 92 was to me when it was like, oh, okay, hip hop going a different direction now. Well, same direction, but there's a little bit more pedal in it now. We pedaling harder. Like we getting some electric assist. Motherfuckers is really moving now with this. Hip hop is real now. And so from 90, so they got from 85 or 84, because we giving them that, to 92. That's 12 years. Excuse me. Yeah, 84 to 92. 84 to 92 is 8 years. So now 8, they only got 8. We got from 92 to 50. 50 was the next step up. It was 50 in G Unit. They were the next step up because once G Unit was done with it, or once G Unit, put their flag and planted their flag in the ground, it was hard to copy that formula and win because they had that. They took that ground already. It was captured operation. So and when did G Unit, like when was that? When did G Unit, you know what I mean? Because part of the time I was in the service.
2002.
Out killing it. 02. So from 92 to 02. Had 10 years. Okay, so we did get a longer run than our OGs, right? We got a longer run. But now from 02 though, what you got now? Cause 50 is still, he still gels with the youngest generation there is now to the oldest generation from our era and everything in between. 50 still is a name that goes that far. And G Unit, the material, everything's still available. So you're talking about 22 years or 20 years? What, 22 years? 22 years. 22 years, man. Like for the latest rendition of hip hop. And I'm sorry to use those names. I know some of my people are going to be arguing in your comment section, like bringing up names like, you know what I mean, in different regions and stuff like that. I'm talking generally about how marketing tools, you've been a DJ for 40 years. You know that there was a smaller bag to grab from as a terms of what you can do from 84 to 92. It was like a tiny ass little bag. Okay, you can do this for a video. This is all you can do. And you can do this. This is all you can do. But by the time you got to 92 to got to 02, see, now you got the internet's popping. MySpace is popping. They getting into Then the Facebooks is coming. Then the social media is coming.
Yo, Canibus, when you was on MySpace, I think you fucked the game up when you was on MySpace and you had everybody doing your songs when you started doing like the Poet Infinity. That
Right.
shit was crazy. Every time, you know, it's just niggas making you say whatever they want, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But
I
back
never
to
seen that
Burnick.
shit.
Right, but okay, so you talking about like, yeah, that was later on, right? But what Burnick when you talking about that marketability, like, be honest, you're a DJ. You know, man, like we wasn't getting no burn like that. You had to have some R&B with you, or you had to have like what Busta had. You know, Jay went and got with that a little bit later. You know, Nas did it when he put Lauren on the track. You know, Biggie drove that into the ground. Pac was all about that. West Coast was all about that musical sound, and you know, the music, it all melted together. You know, his gangster lyrics, his MCs that was getting busy like hieroglyphics, you know, Far Side, they still put, you know, and then you had Outkast come with it. You know what I mean? The Wizard had everything to do with that. But, you know, you had these groups to come where they came and they had melody and harmony with it. So when you're talking about us, man, and you talking about like me and my era and that, we didn't, we didn't, all we wanted to do really was just rap, you know? We was comfortable with that. We were comfortable with getting the show here, doing that. It didn't have to be stadiums, man. It didn't have to be all that. Yo, if Clef didn't take me on the road, man, I don't think, and Clef didn't, you know, come in and get me out of that sweatbox with L. Oh my God, man. I wouldn't have been able to do nothing. The black ball would have shut me down so early and so viciously and brutally, because it's like now when you look at the things that people on YouTube talking about it all the time, like, listen, man, I was the first to go through all that shit. Not all of it, but the blackball part, I went through that shit first, yo. I got to say that. I went through that shit first, man. Like, people don't even understand what that shit was like, going through it so early at such a young age. You know what I'm saying? And now when they talk about it, it's like, you know, boo-hoo, I feel for them. But, you know, when it was happening to me, you know, there was no venue to speak on it or talk about it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I got it the worst when it came to what I was in it for, and what potentially what I was trying to do in terms of the internet and assisting, you know, hip hop to have its own lane and have its own blockchain and have its own everything. You know, I would have dragged hip hop out of, you know, a situation where they were facing, you know, like some turbulence. I would have had lanes for hip hop. And it wouldn't have been just me, it would have been a company, it would have been an organization, it would have been an institution. And because people just ain't wanna, they just, you know, it's one thing to look a gift horse in the mouth and be like, you ahead of your time, you ahead of your time. Okay, so if I was ahead of my time then, so what about now? Yeah, nah. Like Mr. Patterson said, they need to get with the money. Where's the money at? So Burnick, that's really what it boils down to. If you got the budget, anything's marketable. Because just look at how hip hop is now. There's things that's marketed because it's got the budget behind it. That if you were to ask any one of us, like, all right, this is going to be number one. This is what the top 10 chart going to look like. You'd be like, nah, man, they're not going to get away with that. But of course you will. And of course you have, and it will continue to go that way. And there's a gentleman that I watch. I'm going to say this, I'm going to shut up.
So what do you,
But there's a gentleman.
can I interject real quick? So what's your views on artists that are carving their own lanes and making it possible for themselves to actually get themselves into the arena? Like, what do you
All
say
right.
without a budget, without, like, you know what I mean, like just using the internet and social media to their advantage to be able to do certain things? I know that we talk a lot about marketability, but there are also people that that right now have been successful just by doing their thing. Can you touch on that?
All right. So, I'm gonna say this, and and it starts here, right? For me, it starts here, and now, now, when I say it, it's coming from a deeper place than ego, than just thoughts and just a mind. It's coming from a soul, right? It's coming from a higher place, looking down onto the density that we in, right? This is coming from a very, you know, introverted place, right? So between like, you know, I don't expect anybody to understand this. I don't expect them to accept it. I don't expect them to, you know what I'm saying? And it's not ego saying that. It's me just being, just being reality based about what it's always been in my experience. It starts here. When I was doing it, cannabis.com, put this in your CD-ROM. I saw up until roughly what would happen right before, well, right after, not right before social media, the tech changed, where it wasn't just JavaScript no more, where it wasn't just chat rooms and forums, but where it was like, okay, you can upload albums, you can upload, I saw right up to before NFT. Thing that happened before NFT is just alien, right? But what happened up to right before NFTs, I saw all of that. I saw it. That's why I was trying so hard, right? To just disperse that. It was in all of the rhymes, somewhere here, there, whatever, right? Then then after NFT stuff started, but let's just keep it funky though, right? That's about 25 years, right? 98, what have you, whatever. It's about 25 years here. You talking, right? From 98 to now, you looking roughly at like 25 years, give or take a year or two, right? So I was 25 years ahead, 98, right? It's there. Go look it up. It's there, right? From 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 2000, from up until NFTs. So NFTs is about, let's give NFTs 5 years. So let's say 2018, 2019, NFTs started. Even though they've been out before, but before people even started talking about them. Well, really, people just started talking about NFTs in the last year or two. But let's just give it 4 years. Um, During my, 25 years ahead now. Okay, motherfuckers still don't want it. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. It's okay. It's all right. I'm not bothered by it. It's not about me. It's not. It never was. But I was 25 years ahead. I was the only one that was 25 years ahead that was rapping. You know what I'm saying? And still trying to chop it up. I, you know, went on to do things and then still came back to participate in hip hop. Right? Right? Still participated. But then at the invention of NFTs, the discovery of NFTs, so now, there's someone called the Wizard, and he's opened doors where I can see and have seen and have experienced, and we worked on things to where I'm a century ahead right now. I'm 100 years ahead at least with the tech and what's been created. The thing is that this new tech, essentially this Web3 thing, it's called Web3. It's so far ahead. I promise you that, Bigga, you expound on this type of thing. Bernick, you DJ for 40 years. Polo, you're like one of you're the conscious of hip hop, Polo, right? Mr. Patterson, you are the executive that cut checks for so many, you made so many niggas rich. You know what I'm saying? You gave me my first demo deal. And I'm here to tell you, and he knows this already, he knows this part. Yo, I'm a century ahead, at least, right now. Not just me and not because of me, but because of the team. Because of like the wizard. The wizard showed me, like Wizard of Oz, the wizard showed me how Web3 is going to be. And I dug into it, did the reading, did the research. And I'm here to tell y'all that, you know, listen, man, I'm like the masculine, black, melanated version of Whitney Webb with a big dick right now.
This nigga, yo, yo, come on, B. Like, yo, chill.
But
Yo.
it's but I'm here to tell you that right now, thing that you think and what people be talking about, that's why I say please kill it with the quarreling, because you all, it's already over. They took Universal went and took down the TikTok. They took this down to Spotify. They said, if you can't see it already, then I guess you deserve it. You know what I'm saying? You deserve it. Because it's like they don't care. They want scraps from under the table. They don't ever want to own themselves. They just don't care, man. And you can't make them care. And you know what? If they start to care too early or whatever, they still going et tu brute you. You know what I'm saying? Because it just seems to be the way that our people do with each other, right? They just want to find something to fight about. And I'm here to tell you that this new Web3, you know, you know, you know, this whole new civilization, music, art, entertainment, all of that, man, it's gonna be such that everything that we've done, it's over.
Are you, let me ask you another question.
Artists that you name, let me finish this part though, because this is important. Because you can't ask me a question about something you don't know.
No, no, go ahead.
So speak. I'm listening.
Oh, no, no, no. I wanted to ask you, um, are you done with music? And this is a two-part question. This is a two-part question. Are you done with music?
No.
So right now, the reason I ask that is because somebody in the comments is gonna say, I know it. They're gonna be like, yo, if you that far into the future, which nobody is disputing because you obviously have a foresight, of certain things, then how is it that you can't see or carve a lane for yourself in terms of like your own success? Somebody's bound to say that, and I'm asking you I'm asking you that question on behalf of those people that are going to be thinking that way.
All right. So look. Okay. All right. So here we go. Right.
And again, I also want to add. I'm sorry. I also want to add that you are very respected lyricist and artist within the culture. Very respected, and I'm sure that there's a lot of people that would be looking forward to hearing from you. That, you know what I'm saying? Like you have a market. As much as, like, it may be arguable to certain people that want to see a bottom line and a certain dollar amount, you do have a market. So with that being said, could you answer that question?
Yeah. Bless up for the. You know what I'm saying, for the. You know what I'm saying, for just like, you know for for acknowledging like that. But just like then in '98, I wasn't trying to be successful and be, you know, be like this, like how like Will I Am ended up taking over tech and doing all that. Yo, man, I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to take the internet and offer it up to the people who was within the earshot of the music and the rhymes and say, yo, look, that shit's fun, right? Fuck with it. Do you like it? That's what I was doing. And guess what? Just like the question you said is going to end up in the comment section and all that now, just imagine I was 25 years ahead. That part's not really debatable because it's there. When I had that website, None of these motherfuckers had no websites, man. They just didn't. They didn't. Napster, I couldn't even go talk to the dude that made Napster because I was signed to Universal and I didn't want to create no static. He's making the MP3s. You know how much material I had back then?
That
And what I
nigga
could have
said he
done.
was making the MP3s.
MP3, Napster, right? I couldn't even go talk to him. I went to La
Kids
Jolla.
today will be like, "What you mean making MP3? Wasn't they around forever?"
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy Canibus.
Yo,
Like, I knew the nigga that made MP3s.
To La Jolla. I
That's
went to
ahead
the
of
La
time,
Jolla, the
nigga.
MP3.com. I went to the MP3.com conference in La Jolla, California, with Ice-T was there. And yo, man, I love Ice, but Ice
Yo,
just
he
walked
told me
past
that.
me. He didn't even look
He
at me.
told me he was
He
trying
didn't
to
even
get
look
down with
at me.
MP3s
What did
early
he tell
too.
you?
That he
Oh,
was trying to
okay.
get down with MP3s.
I believe him. He was sitting in the audience, and me and him walked past each other, and I wanted to say what's up to him. I looked at him. He didn't even look at me. You know what I'm trying to say? Ice-T. So anyway, 5 years ahead. Paradise. Shout out to Paradise. Man, you know what I'm saying? Paradise was the one that invited me up there. And they had bowling alleys and all that in La Jolla. It looked like it was a heaven in terms of people they come to the office in jeans and sneakers, and they get half day and they go to bowling and the movie theater and the office. It was crazy. Vending machines, and for free, you just press the button and something come out. You ain't got to pay. So 25 years ahead then, and no one thought be like this, but I saw it. I saw it. Now this is going somewhere. I'm going somewhere with this. I saw it. There was no traction, right? So there was no track, and there was no way for nobody to even have any discourse about it. They just like, whatever, cool. I'm telling you now, I'm a century ahead in what I've seen and what the team has done and what's available, what's there. Now it's not available for you to go bite and go copy and all that, right? And what you're talking about with success, not having the success and so forth and so on, like, well, here we go again, right? We're talking about money, right? Success and money. Well, I mean, electricity costs money, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got electricity. You know what I mean? Equipment costs money. I
Well,
got equipment.
this is why I asked you
Feel me? Like, I just
specifically.
don't understand. I
No,
don't
no,
like. There's a
no.
lot of things that I just don't understand.
No. This is this
As
this
far as like, uh,
this is why I'm sorry. This is why I asked you specifically about music. Obviously, you're living. Obviously, you're eating. Obviously, you're doing certain things in order to keep the lights on. But I asked you specifically about music is because that's part of what's missing in regards to like your exposure to not only the culture but to music. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you're keeping we don't want to get into like how you're keeping the lights on. That's on you. You understand what I'm saying? But we're talking about the
yeah,
you know,
no. This is completely platonic, but at the same time, let's be objective.
yeah.
What I'm trying to say to you is, everybody that's hearing what I'm saying, they got to get out their own way, because what I'm talking about, there is no comment section and where it's going. There's no comment section. Like, here I am trying to give you the jewels. I'm telling you, where I'm at a century ahead. And I don't mean I live a century ahead, man. I'm telling you where it's going. Just like in '98 when I was saying it and nobody gave a shit. They didn't give two fucks, man. And guess what? You all on the internet now. Every one of you. You would go crazy if you couldn't go on the internet now. You go crazy. You wake up, you wouldn't know what to do. If you can't check your email on your phone, or you can't go and check your messages, and you can't look at the motherfucker, you would go mad. You go stark raving mad. Notice. Notice about ourselves. This is the chip that's in your wrist, in your hand. This is the chip. Everybody think it's got to be embedded. It don't got to be embedded. This is the chip. It's in your hand. And
It's
I'm
willingly
telling you,
attached. It's willingly attached.
willingly.
We willingly attach ourselves to it. We long for it.
Right. And I'm here to tell you that you will also long for future when it gets here. And you're not going to have a choice. And I'm telling you, at a century, and it's not a century, it's happening sooner than that. But in a century, though, as far as I can see now, And it's not debatable. Anybody that try to debate me, I would be looking at them like, what's your world looking like now? What's your Web3 world looking like right now? What are you doing in Web3? They're not
You
going to
want
have an
to,
answer.
yo, Canibus, you want to talk about Web3 or you want people to Google it?
Now, I want them to Google. I'm not telling nobody nothing this time.
Yeah, no
He's keeping
doubt.
the jewels to himself.
Telling nobody nothing, man. Saying that I don't mean it in a way that's like that. What I mean is like, look, I'm not casting pearls to swine no more. Been like that for a while. I'm done. Because you know why? It eats at your life force. And it eats at your energy. And the truth about it is, don't know what to do with it anyway. They're going to do the wrong thing with it anyway. To be rolled out the way that the powers is rolling it out. Right. And I'm not a part of that conversation. No one comes to talk to me. I'm not employed by nobody around no round table and they're giving me my talking points and nothing that. It's honest, it's raw, it's genuine. And I'm telling you, where it's going, Universal, they took down the Joan, the Spotify, the TikTok, all that. They're winding it down. They're winding it down. Look, the migrants is coming in here. Jamaicans couldn't come in here like that, bro. They made a
Yo,
soundtrack.
remember when
They used to
call niggas immigrants? Like that's new now.
right,
I was like, yo,
right,
migrant? You never said
right.
migrant. You used to call us
But
immigrant.
look, we're not going to talk about it the way that the Ivory people talk about it on the news because they spin it crazy different. I'm saying to you that when they was running down Jamaicans in West Indian Caribbean community and all that, they was running us down. They put you on the tarmac. They immediately deported. You didn't even the way it's going on now. It's like it's alien. You're looking at it. Well, guess what? It's because that new crop is coming in because what they're saying, right, to all of you, whether you know it or not, is we don't need you no more. You done gave us your 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and we don't need you anymore. They're doing everybody the way that they did hip hop. We don't need you no more. They did music. They take down the TikTok. They take the shit. You know why? They don't need you anymore. AI can do your job. And I know that as people gonna be arguing in the comments, it's like, man, AI can't. Look, man, stop listening to these dummies in the comment section. They don't got no plaques. They don't got no money. You know what I'm saying? They talking about they got money. They don't got no money. What are you sitting in the fucking comment section for? I don't comment on nothing on the internet. I don't have a screen name to comment. If I so happen to look at it, I just observe. I don't comment because you know why? You're an armchair activist. What are you doing? Where are your plaques? Where's your music? Can I Google you?
Hold up, did he say armchair activist?
Like, you're activist, bro. You're armchair.
That's dope.
All your action is from here.
I'm gonna use that. Cannabis.
But
I'm using that one.
yeah, so look, listen to these people in the comments, man. They got jokes and what have you, but they're gonna be stuck right there with you talking about the new things that happen. These folks are allowed to come in, no matter how they spin it, because they don't need you no more. And they don't care how you feel. And they don't care what you want. And the future that's coming that I'm talking about, you're not in it. The new ones are coming in. And as somebody that come from a different country, I could tell you like, yo, it feels nice when you come to America. And you got the opportunity for the 2-car and the garage and the picket fence. And you can go to the store and buy equipment that's brand new and works. Oh, you got a credit card, you ain't got to pay for it now? Holy shit. Listen to me, man. There's no way that the old crop is going to be able to compete with the new crop. It's not going to happen. And they're coming. And so what I see, it's disheartening. It's sad. It's fucked up. But guess what? It's how I felt. That's how I felt. That's how I felt all through the late 90s and the 2000s when I was hollering this and nobody was like, all right, whatever. See, so everybody really, and this is not the Joker is like you want to see the world burn sometimes, and it's not that, and it's not bitterness talking. It's a reality. Look, when Dame Dash go talk on Willie D, or you see, I see Dame on other parts. You need to get Dame on your joint. You should get Willie D up there. You know,
Dame is
to
coming.
your,
Well, we going to
Why
him.
not? Yeah, yeah, we're gonna meet up with
We
Dan.
we going to meet
you
up.
should get them. You should get them on your joint, man. Because see, when they talking, you hear things that's coming, and it's like, you know what, Dame, he has what it takes. Just like Mr. Patterson, these gentlemen, they were executives. They
I
have
know
what
it.
it takes to galvanize a nation. They have what it takes. But
I wanted to ask you, Mr. Patterson, something, before, because, I know his time is precious, and I do want to ask the legend a couple more things. Biggie Smalls, of course, he's a legend to our generation, and I know you have some workings with him. Could you maybe elaborate or whatever you want to tell us about working with a legend like the brother?
So here's the thing: when it comes to the artists that I worked with them right out the box, right off the block, right? So who they became wasn't who they were.
Exactly.
They
It was,
were they were a germ of who they became. It was a germ, you know. And so what you got to do, you got to go ahead and spread that germ, and that wasn't their doing. So Biggie was exactly what you saw. He was right off the block, one eye open, one eye over there, dirty. He got weed, smell like weed. I mean, that Biggie he wasn't finessed yet, but he could rhyme. He could rhyme all day. Biggie didn't know how to put a hook in the record yet. He just thought you rhyme. You know what I mean? So working with Biggie, like every other artist, and I can say the same thing about Capadonna, Ghostface, Drew Hill, Josie, Mary J. Blige, Color Be Bad, U2. I could continue going on with the right off the block talent, right? So Biggie, right off the block, always wondered why he wouldn't write shit. It was just all not. I won't get into that yet, but he had a whole thing with him where it was like a whole puzzle that you just had to put it together. You had to put the gear together. You had to put the look together. You had to put the chorus, give him a topic. For example, we was doing this song one time. Me and him did a joint called Dreams. Dreams of fucking an R&B bitch, right?
oh, yes.
And that song came to life by accident. So Puff had a session set with Biggie. This is just to show you how big he is, right? Puff had a session set with Biggie at Soundtrack Studio, and Puff had got sick. He had a cold, so he couldn't make it, right? So he called me and said, "Yo, dog, could you go boom?" So I shot down to the studio, and me and Biggie, we vibed for a little while, and he was like, "Yo, dog, whatever you want to do, let's do something." So Puff called in, and he's like, "Yo, why don't y'all just make a joint about all the bitches, about all the boom, the boom, the boom." And so that became Dreams of Fucking R&B Bitch. The song got written right there. I pulled up a few beats that was already sampled. This is no drum machines. All I did was just loop a few beats, James Brown and familiar beats like that. And that became the song. But my point is, Biggie was so moldable. He said, "Well, whatever you want to do, dog, let's do it. Just keep me high." And that's all you had to do. You just keep him high. And he was so moldable. When the business started to become a part of his life, when responsibility started to become a part of his life, when scheduling started to become a part of his life, when all of that grown man shit started to become part of his life, that's when the fun started to go away for him, and it became more of a big pack on his back, because he had the kids with him. He had Kim with him. He had C's with him. He had Trife with him. He had all the kids with him. Now he had to make homes for them. At the same time, keep himself eating. At the same time, he got D. He got all the security. He got the block with him. So who he was when he first came in the door was my best memories of Biggie, because he was manageable and moldable and he was down for whatever. And that's how all of the good records came up. You know, that's how him and Easy Mo B made magic. That's how, you know, it's just how it went, man, you know. And that's how it is with a lot of the artists, man. You know, you get them right off the street, they're like a brand new rookie, man. Like, yo, I'll do whatever, let's go. And they take direction, you know. But as soon as they make a couple of dollars, it's over, man.
That's amazing. That's a very hell of a story. I wanted to ask you because everybody always asks this question, but you answering this question is going to hold more weight than the Titanic. Who would you say would have been the five top artists of hip hop that you would say that came out of this as of now? Yeah, including this generation. We don't lead them on.
I'm gonna give it to you like this. Can't give it to you. I'm partial, man. I'm partial because the artists back then, you know, it's really like part of your family, man. You've seen them grow, you've watched them grow, and you fell in love with every one of them. And I've worked with every one of them, 80% of them, right? So I don't love one more than the other. Okay, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, of course.
Today's artists, they don't take advantage of me, so I don't know them. You know, I'm that tree that's outside of all your houses. I'm that one tree that in the summertime, you guys can sit under it because you know that gives you shade. That's where your comfort's at. But that tree is 100 years old, at least. It's big, it's brolic, it blooms. That's where you know, that's the Alamo. That's where we meet when the sun gets too hot, right? So I don't have a top five, but I'll tell you who moved it for me. For me, who really moved it, all right? LL shook it. LL shook the world. Hands down, he shook the world, okay? Slick Rick, for me, shook the world.
Keep talking.
For me, right? Hear me out.
Go ahead.
Brand Nubian shook the world for me.
Absolutely.
Keep talking. Keep talking.
They shook the world for me because Jungle Brothers, the whole tribe, they started the movement. And you know, that was different. You know, they got me thinking about myself now as a black man. I'm not thinking about the Brady Bunch no more, the Partridge Family. I'm looking at me now. You feel me? My programming is changing now because they talking about me. I'm starting to listen. Oh shit, Black Power, Ungawa, let's go. Right? So out of that movement, Native Tongue, Brand Nubian was it for me because they not only are they friends, but they had a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it did it for me. So another group, Pete Rock and CL Smooth.
Okay.
Shook the world for me.
Shout out to Pete Rock.
Yeah, major. And
Shook the world. CL was so intelligent with his rhymes, and he was so militant with it, but definitely underrated, you know. But for me personally, shook the world. And you know, I could keep going, man. My little man, Mr. Cheeks. When I found him, oh my God, you couldn't tell me nothing. I said, this is it. This is the one, you know. And we did what we did with him. So these are personal attachments. Now, was all the money made behind them? No, there was money made behind bigger artists. Was all the talk with them? No, but for me, they moved me. Today, who moves me? Today, I would have to tell you, out of everything that's happening since the last 20 years, since I've been out to pasture, the only person that I would spend money on is the kid Drake. Drake to me, he carved himself in this thing. he really got his stamp.
So how do you feel when like Mos Def say he's not hip hop? How do you feel about somebody, and not even just him in general, but other people that also reflect that because he's so successful? Because I think Drake, beyond the shadow of a doubt, is hip hop, even though he's super consumable.
So Mos Def is he's entering into his fifth decade of life, right? That's where he's walking in. Drake is entering in his third decade of life. He's starting to feel that world, right? So I can understand when Mos says he's not hip hop, because where Mos comes from, hip hop is way different than what Drake does. Drake is a rapper. You know what I mean? Mos is an MC. There's a big difference.
And that's I think that's where the line has to be drawn, and most people are under the misconception that one is part of the other, when it's not. You could be a rapper, but just because you're a rapper doesn't mean that you're hip hop. And I think that that's where Mos Def is identifying Drake as. He's identifying him as a rapper, but as far as like hip hop, I would have to agree with Mos Def, and I bring that into a conversation, and something that was said by KRS-One when the invitation came to him to go be part of the Grammys. He was like, it's dope that hip hop is being recognized as the 50th year, but hip hop is not in the building unless he's in the building. And I happen to agree with that because there's a lot of misconceptions of the actual culture of hip hop, and a lot of people that use that term and those words loosely should understand that there is a difference between one over the other. You know what I'm saying? You have hip hop, which is a culture, and it embodies, like I said before, several things. The rapping part and the music part just happens to be one of them. So when you look at certain artists in a specific light, you should be able to identify, at least now, 50 years later, even though that the culture, and society has found a way to disconnect the perception and the values of the original culture, is our responsibility as the people that have, that have experienced the culture from, for a number of years, to reintroduce it to society and remind them of what the culture actually is. And I'm really passionate about that, and that's why I ask the questions that I ask in regards to those sorts of connections. And going back to Mr. Patterson, going back to Mr. First, I wanted to touch base on what we were talking about with you mentioned.
Can I talk to what you just said real quick?
No, go right ahead.
It's okay.
No, go ahead.
All right. I just want to talk to something because you said something kind of cool, man. You can't correlate hip hop and rap. It's really hard to, because
Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly.
hip hop is graffiti, man. Hip hop is gangs. Hip hop is knives. Hip hop is spray paint. Hip hop is breakdancing.
Talk about it.
Hip hop is Pro-Keds, Converse. Hip hop is British Walkers. Hip hop is Sherlings. Hip hop is the motherfucker, man. You know what I mean? Hip hop is a motherfucker.
Yeah, let me ask you, because now we're gonna keep it.
Mr. Patterson, real quick, let them get into your little zone, man. Let us in the waiting room. That thought we said, yo,
we got to cut a check for that one, but we could do it. I'm a whole.
Okay.
let us get a little bit of your lover's love part where you say like, yo, Candy, man, like they need to be it. The girlfriend got to get shot on tour. They need to be like, that's what they need.
No.
Like,
that's necessary. No, it's necessary. It's going back to what we were saying before, man. The hip hop, man, you have to have your stripes. It's like being in the service. You have to have your site. What was your job? My job description was this, straight up and down. the corner, 16 hours a day. Out there 7 in the morning. Like Jay, everything became rhymes. Whatever I seen, it became a rhyme. You know, it wasn't something that I just got on the computer and did a Fruity Loops. No, I had to experience.
Yo.
You know, this is in me. I got stories to tell at home when I go to.
Shout out to Shoulder Boy.
Right? So my girl has to have her story. She got to have her story. She had to have 4 abortions. She had to get shot. She had to also fuck my man. That's hip hop.
Yo.
Rap, in my opinion, is it's such the melted down version of hip hop where all that's left is words. There's no lifestyle left. There's no story left. You know, these rappers are born 3 years before they're mega. You know, they started rapping 17 months ago, and now they're mega. You know what I mean? And their story is in what the kid Lil Yachty. I really study him. I studied the Lil Yachty guy because he's such a suburban kid, and he became. I watched how he transitioned. You know, he's got the goals now, and he's got the this, and you know what I mean. And I'm watching, and I'm saying, wow, he ain't got one stripe. You know what I mean? All of this is just like, what's next? Okay, goals. Let me get those.
Could that be the attached to how easy they can make it? Because I remember being the first person. I was like, yo, I got Pro Tools Digio 1. It was probably like 2000, 2001 on the block. And I'm like, yeah, and everybody was like, wow, he's got a studio. And that was a big thing. So that to get an MBox 1, that's a whole different. You're like, what? You can record on your laptop anywhere? Yeah, nigga, I got an MBox 1, nigga. Let's get it. But you know what I'm saying? And now Fruity Loops, I can make the beat. I remember having to buy the fucking the MoFat sound shit. That shit was like $2,000 just for the sounds. The fucking the Triton, and they just have the sound that it fucking got.
I had to have a Triton. You couldn't walk in the studio without a Triton.
Yeah, I need an MPC.
Hold on. Let me tell you.
Fruity Loops, you could sample everything. We had, like, when Canibus was talking about floppy disk, that made me think about how I used to save my beats on the MPC at first before the SCSI on like 6 floppy disks. Be like, yo, I gotta get the 6 floppies for this beat.
A mechanic need his tools, Polo. You went out. You just upgraded your tools. Like,
but that's it. But us as older hip hop heads, I think that we don't value how it's a different thing, because at the same time, do we really, like, if it's for our kids in the next generation, do we really want them to go through the strife and pain that niggas had to go through just to get record deals before? Or, bro, go have fun in your room, and if other kids like what you like, then that makes us the older people, because when we were older, our older fucking family was like, why are you listening to Run DMC? Why are you listening to Biggie? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the same thing, but the way that you make music now also affects not necessarily the quality, because there's also other things that I learned as an older person that I'm like, yo, this is fire that they do that. Like, there's things in Lil Yachty's things, because of my nephew and shit. He's like, yo, Lil Yachty's the best. And I'm like, what the fuck is you talk about? And then I listen to it and I'm like, yo, you know what? They're good at something. There's something good in that for what they do. And we got to respect it, because it's also, we're also, and this is like a hot take, right? We also like, we love the trauma that came with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, the stabbings, the abortions, that's fucking trauma, nigga. Like, niggas can be like, yeah, man, you little kids ain't shit. We grew up to Mobb Deep. Them niggas is crazy too. You know what I'm saying? That's like drill rapping away in a certain way. And we grew up like that. So when they be like, yo, we selling drugs, we doing this, then there's other generation that comes after them that might think drugs is so normal that they like, yo, I do drugs. Because it's normalized. You know what I'm saying? So it's also correlates. And also we gotta respect that, yeah, little man, go make your music easier.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that. I want to piggyback on that because I had a hard time readjusting myself into, like, you know, additional resources that we have, today as far as what we had years ago with consoles. You know what I'm saying? Being able to get music easier. I had to go through my own adjustments. But one thing that I can say, even though that this generation has an abundance of resources, it still doesn't play into a great body of work. So you can have all of the equipment that you have, the ways of recording. You can have it easier. You can do a track in 5 minutes and have it on the internet and reach a certain amount of people. But that doesn't mean that your body of work is going to be any much better.
Yeah, it's
You know what
definitely
I'm saying?
quantity these days. It's everything moving these days is quantity. You know, when it comes to content, when it comes to followers, when it comes to, streams, everything is content. Everything is now. So I got to give grace to how shit moves right now. You know, if you don't move with it, you're going to get ran over. So I'm not fronting on how things move, but the original question was hip hop and rap. So,
Yeah.
you know, whoever is going to claim the hip hop title, please earn that. Please deserve that. You know what I mean? That's all.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
agree
for
with that.
sure. 100%.
That's my point.
So let me ask you, this is real risky. We can move on, right? And it's not started shit, but it's just the funniness of the universe. Do you think that a nigga wearing a skirt is hip hop?
Me or Canibus?
Anybody in here that wants to answer that question?
Well, see, that's the thing. Listen, once again, we could run all the way around the board about who said what, about who looks like what, about who it just don't have that marketability, and so forth and so on. And we could use all kinds of semantics to describe that in language. But right now in the metaverse, you can dress and put eyelashes on and do whatever it is that you want to do. You can have a full handlebar mustache and a halter top with a skirt and a rainbow, gridiron underneath your left eye and a bun and a man bun. And
That's not hip hop.
and have the mic in your hand and be performing and have fans that stay in their home and just put it on and look at you on the screen and send you your bread for a performance that you did and have them put on your logo and your outfit and call it a skin, like right now.
Absolutely,
So it's
absolutely. But nobody's disputing that. But that wouldn't be hip hop.
what? Say what?
That wouldn't be hip hop. Everything that you're describing, we can do.
Yeah, but
There's a lot that can be done.
all right. Okay, look, I get it, man. It's hard to let go.
No, yeah, but the
or
point I wanted to make is that
look, it's hard to I get it. Like it's 98. For me, it's 98 all over again. Because, N.O.R.E can say that, he came in there, what is he getting his rhymes from a computer? Like whatever type of jokes, man.
but that's not a joke. That's you're a monumental person.
How could I get a rhyme from a computer though? Hold on though, man. How could I get a rhyme from a computer though?
No, he didn't say you was
No,
getting a rhyme from
nobody.
the computer. He didn't say that.
No, he wasn't. No. There was a part where he was like, what is he getting his rhymes off the computer? And plenty of
Oh.
people have said that, man.
Oh, yeah. Yo, because Canibus, listen, because of your forum that you did and the people used
It's
to
not
show
about
love.
me though. It's not about me. What
But
I'm
the
trying
people
to say
used
is
to write rhymes like you on there. So they was like, that was a.
Let me finish this part. It was a long time ago. It doesn't matter. I'm saying to you that same, like, this is our people for you. They holding on. They not letting go. They got the crates downstairs, the crates of the albums. It melts. You got to
Why you talking about, bro? Why you talking about me though?
see every year when the summer
Why,
comes over. What?
Can you sneak this in me, B? Why you talking about me like? You need to relax.
No,
You need.
no. I'm telling you how it is. The acetate, it melts. Every summer you got to make sure it is climate controlled because of the value of it. And what I'm saying to y'all, brothers, is that all of the tenants, we call it foundation. This time it's different. The very ground that you call a ground is we all got to deal with the gravity. But the thing that you call ground and nothing goes below it, and you can stand on it, and nothing goes below that, I'm trying to tell you that all that becomes cloud. It all becomes cloud. And your comments and how you feel and what matters and this, that, and the third, you all are going to be overwhelmed. You're going to be overwhelmed with input.
I hear what you're
And
saying,
you
Ken.
fade away, and you're going to fade away.
No, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Ken. And I'm sorry to interject, but like I said, there's a part of us that we should be able to embrace. You know what I'm saying? What's coming? I'm gonna just share some with y'all. I had a meeting with an organization that partnered up with a larger organization into introducing certain technological resources within the music industry. And one of those technologies was the ability for people to use AI to write lyrics for them. We're gonna now watch this. Now watch this. Now watch this. Now watch this. Watch this. As soon as they said that, right? I was with another individual, a pioneer. You guys, we'll talk about that later on when the time comes. But we immediately jumped in and interjected and said, "But nah, you can't do that. That's not hip hop." You follow what I'm saying? There's certain elements that us as people that have not only got a lot out of this culture, but are responsible to making sure that the culture is not is should be kept intact. And one of the elements within the hip hop culture is that one of the unwritten rules, if not written at all, is that you have to write your own lyrics. Like anything that you pen has to be yours. Am I right or wrong?
Facts.
So with that being said, no one is saying that we should be afraid of anything that's introduced to us, in terms of like technology. But at some point, when it comes down to like the actual fabric of what the culture represents and what it means to us, we need to hold on to that. We need to make sure that certain things are not. We have to set boundaries on certain things, and that's where that comes in.
Fighting a losing battle. Look, I'm going to tell you why you're fighting a losing battle.
Go.
I mean, in your home, it's going to be the way you want it. You know what I'm saying? You keep the lights on in there. It's, not under my roof. It's your home. So but basically that's in your safe space. That's how you have it the way you want it. Nothing will change there because it's a vacuum in your safe space. Yeah. What we're dealing with right now is you're talking about, that's not hip hop, certain things. Have you seen the AI in action? Like when they talk to you about it, did you get to see it in action? Did you get to see it writing the rhymes? Did you get to see it do that?
No, this was something. Like I said, this was something that was they were introducing.
So and they talked about it was a presentation, but did you see it? Did they put it up on the screen so you could see it? Did they do that?
No.
Wow. See, they bullshit.
What if the AI does like dances like a b-boy?
All right, look.
They have AI now.
Yeah, they gonna do
They
it.
have AI now that actually where you can. I think Apple has a function in one of the VR systems where you can like DJ, virtually.
That's fire. That's fire. That makes me want to buy it more. That makes me want to buy it more. I already wanted to buy it, but that's fire.
Right, it is. And I asked you, and it's the greatest show on earth. What's going on right now? But listen, I asked you, did you see it? Because I've seen it. I was taking rhymes of my own, like it was already written, it's already put in typed up format, and I was pitching them at the AI.
Canibus, say that shit again. My bad. You was cutting off. Could you say that again?
I said I have danced with the AI. I took, scrolls of rhymes that was written already, typed up in my word processor. And I started cutting and pasting and sending them at the AI. And the AI was sending it back. Taking the same pattern and mixing it up. And I watched how, okay, I wouldn't say that way. Okay, that's hot, but I wouldn't say it that way. But it didn't matter. it was coming back
It did it
at a
instantly.
pace. I mean, a matter of seconds is not instant.
That's instant though. That's
Hold on,
fast.
considering it took me maybe, on something that might have taken me 3 days to describe. And I sent it at the motherfucker and the shit come back at me in 8 seconds. And while, as a hip hop connoisseur, I sit there and I'll probably be like, yeah, but he wouldn't say it like that. So like let's say we're talking about like Rakim, like it's dudes for Rakim, right? And then like a Rakim a Rakim AI that was taking those kind of lyrics and coming back. I'm telling you how it felt, but I'm not going to use myself as an example. Let's use Rakim. So Rob put the thing cut and paste. The AI comes back as an observer. This is how I felt for myself, but let's be using Rod as an example. It comes back, it's follow the leader, but it's different. And I know, Rod wouldn't say that. But the AI is saying something, but yeah, that's
You mean like word salad? You mean like word salad?
Finish. No, not word salad, bro.
It's fire. It's fire shit. He's fire shit.
Yeah, it's shit that I'd have to say because it's reading at 300 trillion data points per second. That's how fast it's running. These is numbers that, you know what I'm saying? I get overwhelmed by those numbers. And I'm telling you that this is the response, though. And this is coming from me. This is coming from Canibus. What happened to me when I had to interface with the AI and the way that I observed it, my attitude to why I say, yo, I'm a century ahead. I've seen a century ahead with this. Nah, Ra wouldn't say that. But, yo, that shit's hot, though. But Ra wouldn't say that, though. He wouldn't say it that way. And if he did say it, he wouldn't say it that way. But still following patterns, still on point, to the point where, and this is me talking, to the point where if it was over a beat, I'd be so happy to hear more of Rakim. I would say, yeah, all right, yo, play that shit. Are you listening to what I'm saying to you?
You mean you would use the AI to listen to new Rakim? Like AI generated Rakim?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's so close. I would want to hear more Rakim to the point where I just say, yo, run that shit. Are you me? I would say that. Even though he won't say it that way, and it like it's not him. He wouldn't do it that way, and he wouldn't say it that way. But yo, that shit's hot though. And it's following a pattern. And it's still using syntax. It's close. This is me. I'm telling you, to the point where, because I want to hear more Rakim, 2024, you understand what I'm trying to say? I would say, yeah, go ahead, run that shit. I'm trying to tell you how serious it is. So when you say that ain't hip hop, listen, man, you're fighting a losing battle.
But that's
again, we're back to the
yo, hold on, because I got it.
We're back in 98. Look, we're back in 98 where I was saying certain things and it was like whatever. And there was a comment section, right? And I'm telling you, you're gonna see it, you're gonna live to see it change. And guess what they're gonna be doing? Yo, man, on Bigga Picture, man, Mr. Patterson, Marco Polo, Canibus, Burn Nick, and Bigga, they was in it, they was talking about the same shit. But guess what? It's not gonna matter because nobody really cares until they're forced to. That's how serious it is.
No, I hear what you're saying. But there's a disconnect between accepting what's to come and having principles of who you are. You know what I'm saying? We can accept the fact that
you've been a DJ for 40 years, so you know as well as I do that there was records that you wouldn't have played in the beginning of your DJ career that you ended up playing. You got stories about that, like, man.
I absolutely have stories about that. But again, for the same reason, there's been records that I've been playing for 40 years that I probably wouldn't be that I can probably play for another 40 years. But name an artist that's coming out today that's going to be heard 40 years from now. You probably couldn't be able, you probably wouldn't be able to name one. You understand what I'm saying? Because of the type of music that's being put out now and how it's being put out. That's not arguable, but we're not talking about all that. We're talking about the principle of who we are and how do we maintain the integrity of who we are and a
We
culture.
couldn't even do this. No, listen, brother. I'm trying to tell yo, Mr. Patterson.
Hey, let me speak to that. Let me speak to that real quick.
Yeah.
So I get where you both are going, man. And my man who just spoke, he is still a part of the human race. He still is a part of where we're from. He has that heartbeat. He has that soul. He has that whole non-AI approach towards life. Preserve. It's ours. You can't take it. That's who I am.
Right.
But I'm learning that I'm going to have to relearn a few things, and I'm going to have to unlearn a few things, because where we're going is very different, fellas. And so my point is,
listen to the man.
No, I'm listening, but I got something to say about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, my point.
Hold on, Biggie.
Let me
get mine off.
So you know, it's like I don't want to know that I don't want to know that if I'm in a restroom, a woman can walk in, or a woman sure doesn't want to know that her restroom is vulnerable now to man because today he feels like being a woman, or today I feel like being a rabbit, so I identify as a rabbit. You know, I want to protect and preserve my manhood, my masculinity. I want to preserve that because that's where I'm from. But the powers that be and the people who make the decisions are not telling our kids that. They're telling our kids, be who you want to be. On Monday, Tuesday, when you got 7 days of the week, you could be a motherfucking peacock. You could be a turtle. Okay? And I want to preserve that. No, you're just a boy. I want to preserve. No, you're just a girl. You know, I'm still with that pink and blue shit. You got pink talk and you got blue talk. That's how simple it is for me. So with hip hop, my man, he wants to preserve what we started, because that shit wasn't easy, man. You know what I mean? And there was no directions, there was no blueprint. So it was all improvisation. It was all, you know, go as you learn. Nowadays, there's so many blueprints and so many ways to hip hop and ways to the money that us trying to preserve the way it started, to Canibus's defense, it's a losing battle. We can make as many museums as we want. We can make as much memorabilia, much documentaries as we want. Yo, they're going to erase us, man, and that's just what it is. So I'm trying to come to grip with that. And I'm trying to understand that I'm no longer a person. I'm a meme now. How about that? I'm an avatar, nigga.
Yeah, you can't do nothing funny for 3 seconds. You become a GIF, nigga.
You see what I'm saying? Hey, who's that? Marco Polo Vision. You see what I'm saying, nigga?
No, I hear what you said.
That's what I got.
Like,
Mr. Patterson.
I'm 57. How the fuck do I'm a person. No. You're an avatar. And guess what? 2 + 2 is 5 now.
Hold on.
Get the t-shirt.
Hold on. Mr. Patterson, I agree with you 100%. However, I never said that I wasn't accepting of change. I never said that. I accept change, right? However, there's part of change that can also be contradictory. And what we can't do is allow the contradiction. And that's why I draw the line. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I was like, that's why I brought up the thing about the guy with the skirt, because the guy with the guy that said Drake is not hip hop, a couple of days later came out with a shirt with a picture with a skirt.
I know, but watch this. I know.
So it makes excuse like, nigga, is that hip hop, nigga? I don't think that's hip hop. So what are you trolling?
Right, but guess what though? Guess what? We don't know when he took the picture. They could have made him take that picture. He could have took that picture years ago.
It still wasn't hip
You
hop
feel
then.
me?
You
No,
know,
I
it,
All
know
right, so let me
what
give
I'm
you a skirt
saying.
story. Give you a
This is what
skirt
I
It
story
was
mean.
real
This
never
is
quick.
what
hip
I
hop,
mean. I'm
no
gonna
matter
shut
where
up.
you took it.
I mean, I'm gonna
I'm
shut
gonna
up.
give you a skirt
What if they
story real
took the
quick.
picture? All right,
I'll give you a skirt
listen.
story. I'm about 98% sure this is real. Okay, I could be off on a couple of points, but at one point, Tretch put a skirt on. If I'm
Stretch?
mistaken, I apologize, Tretch.
Oh
But
my
something.
god.
No, 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 no. If I'm mistaken, I apologize. But my memory serves me right. I believe it was an all black kiltish type of real masculine skirt. And guess what? Hear me out. I had to look at that as art as opposed to not hip hop. I had to look at as, oh, he pulled this out the crate. This is a one and only. This is a, oh shit. This is a, let me just look at this painting right here because he took a page out of David Bowie's book, who wore a skirt, who wore a kilt. He took a picture, a picture out of a lot of rock stars who took it there. Prince wore lace on the stage. He wore stockings on the stage. Prince made purple cool. Arguably, arguably, I could ask you if Cameron is hip hop with a pink coat. Arguably, I could ask you that because that pink doesn't say masculine, but look who's wearing it. Tretch, look who's wearing it. Okay. Dennis Rodman, look who's wearing it. Now, my question is, we talk about who? Usher? Who we talking about right now? Who wore a skirt?
Most deaf.
you said
Okay,
Tretch.
most deaf is not believable in a skirt. That shit is just not believable.
And
I
it's
don't care
skirts
how
everywhere
far,
now.
Was it a skirt
It's
or was it a
skirts
but
kilt?
he,
everywhere.
Wait,
he's
wait,
so
wait, wait.
yassi.
We're not moving the goalposts?
Listen,
Madison didn't
it's.
Nah,
wear the skirt. He was like, "Yo, so who we talking about wearing the skirt?"
nah. Hold on,
I
hold
thought we
on.
was talking about Usher.
Nah,
No,
I saw him in a skirt.
I mean,
nah,
no
I,
offense to Usher. If you see Usher in the skirt, you be like, I get it. But
nah.
so
Chill.
But
we were,
most,
we
no,
were.
no, most isn't
This
believable.
is this is a long conversation.
Is Busta Rhymes will not get booed if he came out in a kilt. It won't get booed. Kanye West will not get booed. Let me just hear me out. They will not get booed. No, because now you got to talk about where am I at with my thinking? Am I phobic in some type of way by not opening up my eyes to say, hmm. Now, get me wrong. I will never put a skirt on. It's just not what I do. It wouldn't be believable for me. I'm not a rock star. I'm not a big muscle bound cat. But if Buster came in with some Tims and a skirt, that might be the way for the night. That just might be the way for the night because it's believable. That's just how I see it. Most Def, it's not believable. You don't have the stature for it. You don't have the brawn for it. You're not known for risk taking. You're known for lyrics. You're known for being wisdom. You're not known for risk taking. So in Palestine, I mean, in Yemen, wherever he may be, that may be the tradition.
Yemen,
Nah,
Yemen.
but
Oh
again,
God,
we're gonna have to.
Yemen's kind of rough right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we gotta
Guys, we can
wrap it
have
up.
we can have this all night right now. You know what I'm saying? But the queen is calling, and I gotta wrap it down now. And it's been such an honor right now to speak to you guys. We got to do this again one day. Um, my brother on the bottom, we gotta rise up to the top. You know what I'm saying? Can I buzz you are a blessing, brother.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Mr. Patterson, you are a blessing, brother. I can't begin to tell you this was an honor tonight. This conversation, as you know, we could go on for hours and hours and hours with this. You know, I got to go tend to the queen before she gets a little bit too upset at me. She's done already looked down and frowned at me a couple times. So, I mean, it's time to go pay homage to the queen.
Hey, tell her
I
watch
know what
out
that
now.
is.
Hey, tell her to be easy with you though. You know they gonna be making the AI soon. Tell her to be easy.
He's be replaceable.
Hey,
It's
I'm just playing. I'm just playing, yo. I swear, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. I'm just
yeah.
playing, Bigga. I'm just
So
playing.
yeah,
I ain't trying to start no argument in your house and stuff. I'm
no, never that. She
just
she
jokes. It's just jokes.
Now, before we leave though, can we have y'all call out your platform so people could like know what y'all doing?
It's the
Yeah, what's
bigger picture. All right, yeah. Yo, check it out. Our bus right here with the great Bigga
Yo, Canibus,
and
do that again. I'm
Burnett.
sorry. It just sounded like you was cutting off. Could you do that one more time?
Okay,
Sorry.
oh
you ready?
Action.
Go.
Yo, this is Ken Our Bus right here on the bigger picture. I got my joint on now. I'm a little bigger. Want to send a shout out to Big Burnett, Marco Polo, Mr. Patterson. All right, February 16th, 2024. Man, come hang out with us, yo. Fireside chat on the bigger picture. Peace.
yeah.
Mr. Patterson.
This is your boy, the Blast from the past. They put me out to pasture, but I'm coming out just for the bigger picture. All right. Soon as I'm finished here, I'm going back to grazing and grazing in the pasture. That's just what I'm doing. Tim Dawg Patterson in the building. Bigger picture all day, all night. Love.
I
I
appreciate you, sir.
appreciate
I
you.
so much honor to you.
Yo, let's give Mr. Patterson a round of
All
applause,
right.
yo.
Absolutely, absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
I'm Mr. Polo. Mr. Polo, talk your talk.
Yeah. So you already know we sitting out here with the bigger picture. Bernick, we out here. Shout out to Mr. Patterson, Butt Naked Tim Dawg. Shout out to my nigga
All right.
Canibus, legendary lyricist. You already know the bigger picture. We in here.
I
I
bet.
love you guys, man. Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
y'all.